Another episode of Candace Michelle Views, where I give my opinion on what I am viewing on any mainstream medium platform that you could think of. So today I am going to be doing um, Candace Michelle View history version episode today. It won't be celebrity lists. It will be some celebrities being talked about, but history obviously doesn't really have much to do with celebrities until I guess this time frame. So we're just gonna go back. So I'm gonna do it live because it's so much stuff that I have that I could not put it in my photos and go through. So I really have things like literally all it's like all unorganized, hours worth of stuff. I said if I try to organize it, I'll be here for another 3 weeks. So I might as well just get this stuff out. So what I'm gonna be doing is basically whatever I have been viewing about history, what they've been telling us, documents that they say they have, oral information that is not in documents but is known orally in history. So I'm going to go over some of those informations and kind of like give an overview of the world and how it's been a scam since like day one, if that makes any sense. And then the phrase of like make America great again, I kind of want to like go over why he gave that statement. It was for a reason that he says it with a laugh. And they want people to say, oh, well, America was never great. But, like, honestly, that's why everyone is over here. And that's why we have, like, the biggest, marketing place to bubble and, for people to become very big, important, rich people and take it back to their country. So, obviously, America is kind of great. It's just, and it was great at one point for everybody at certain periods of the timeline. So maybe this time frame, America wasn't great for certain groups, but it was good for other groups. And then before things that they weren't, they don't teach in history, it probably was great for people in America for that group. And I'll go over all that information. So I have a couple people with me. Thank you for being here. I love all the people that, give me feedback, and I do have like a little group that I feel like we're on the same track. So hopefully some of you people are in here, and then I know I have a lot of people that are probably a part of this information of the scamming people, and we're gonna go over that duality. There is a lot of people that's commenting or watch these kind of videos, and they are always in here too, trying to defend. So let's get started. Let's get started anywhere, okay? Okay. So I just wanted to let's see. Maybe this is a good place to start.
In Spanish settlement of the Americas, short.
Okay, so this is like basic information that they give us with history, right?
The Atlantic slave trade began in the late 1400s with Portuguese colonies in West Africa and Spanish settlement of the Americas shortly after. The crops grown in the new colonies, sugarcane, tobacco, and cotton, were labor-intensive, and there were not enough settlers or indentured servants to cultivate all the new land. American natives were enslaved, but many died from new diseases, while others effectively resisted. And so, to meet the massive demand for labor, the Europeans looked to Africa. African slavery had existed for centuries in various forms. Some slaves were indentured servants, with a limited term and the chance to buy one's freedom. Others were more like European serfs. In some societies, slaves could be part of a master's family, own land, and even rise to positions of power. But when white captains came offering manufactured goods, weapons, and rum for slaves, African kings and merchants had little reason to hesitate. They viewed the people they sold not as fellow Africans, but criminals, debtors, or prisoners of war from rival tribes. By selling them, Kings enriched their own realms and strengthened them against neighboring enemies. African kingdoms prospered from the slave trade, but meeting the Europeans' massive demand created intense competition. Slavery replaced other criminal sentences, and capturing slaves became a motivation for war rather than its result. To defend themselves from slave raids, neighboring kingdoms needed European firearms, which they also bought with slaves. The slave trade had become an arms race, altering societies and economies across the continent. As for the slaves themselves, they faced unimaginable brutality.
Okay. Isn't that like the story that everyone is like familiar with of the slave trade that happened? So I just want to show this clip really fast as well. Yeah, how he said he has the same. Okay, I just want to go over that clip really fast. So, this is like a clip from Netflix, I believe, The Crown, Elizabeth, things like that nature. As you can see, they are all coming to greet the African king or whoever, and he's telling him, "Oh, this is a royal, whatever." And then he looks upon him and say, "Oh, I have the same pendant, I have the same thing," and then he's like kind of smiling at him, looking like, because this guy's probably not as into understanding that they work together. They work together, and not only were they not working together. Oh, not only do you see the all his stuff? Not only do they work together. Okay. Let's see where the sorry about I'm trying to do things backwards. Okay. You see the pendants? This guy smiled, the African guy smiled at him like, go, like, dude, do you know who I am? Like, do you, like, the rest of these people know who he is. This is Prince William. I think he married Elizabeth. Elizabeth was more, I believe they all, of course they all are royal, and they have to intermix with each other, okay? So whoever Prince William was, but Elizabeth was more of the important person in the family lineage. They were aware that this African king is just as important as them, not only just as important as them, probably was more important than them, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna show you how it all intercycles together. How they with the slave trade, how they advise that it starts with Africa, and then they migrate into somewhat near Asia and things like that, where the complexions of the skin becomes lighter and things of that nature. Not an accurate situation, not an accurate terminology of how mankind actually started. We have two different versions of the story. We have the story in Africa, then we have the story in America. We have the Mississippi River of the family tree, and I can show you a picture of why it's like a family tree, and that's why they call it family tree, because these great rivers give life. So anything around these great rivers will have things flourish. And this is the one from Mississippi. So it's like this is all interconnected, right? So we're like kind of like in the middle of history right now, where we should kind of back it up and start it from the beginning of why people are insinuating that this is more on this side than what they're saying on the other side. And if you don't realize what is actually going on, is a mirroring of both continents. So we have this side over here is as above, so below. So we have Africa and all of them over there, and then we have the continent and stuff over here. So who's the first creator of which continent, which side did it first? It's the chicken or the egg, you know, it's like kind of something like that going on, right? Of who did it first. So we gotta go back to whoever is the ancient people, right? Now this is when it gets tricky and scammy. This is when they in order for them to say these people that most likely derived from this area. I'm gonna have to go all over the place because nothing's organized, so it's gonna take some time. Those kind of people, this is where you're gonna find those people at originally, ethnically. Okay, we're not talking about race, we're talking about ethnicity. When you talk history, you kind of could get racist, but if you have a brain, you already know that racist doesn't even have anything to do with race. Don't even really have anything to do with history. Race is more of a social grouping of, oh, I don't like you because you're this color or whatever, but I could probably be this color and be the same ethnicity as you, if that makes any sense. Because it's where you're born, where your relatives and origin is sprouted from. Wherever you sprouted from is your ethnicity. Okay? So that matters. So it's obviously two different groups of people, right? And if you want to get into the mythical times, like with the stories of Seth and Osiris, yeah. When you want to get into Seth and Osiris, it's kind of telling you a story. These people think these people are real. You got to understand the difference between mythology and actual events. And a lot of people want this to be a real event, but sometimes it may be just telling you a story of the time of the world. And Osiris and Seth could very well much be just a placing of people at the time that they're trying to explain to you that these two group of people, they did not see eye to eye. Literally, they did not see eye to eye. No pun intended. So it seems like if you want to go back in those ancient times and it was two brothers or two somewhat arguing, it most likely will be representing the African man and the black man, if this makes any sense. And unfortunately, I have to say black men because they have no name for us. So we're just going to say black. Even though it doesn't mean absolutely nothing, it doesn't give you a place of ethnicity. It doesn't tell you you're Russian. It doesn't tell you you're Swedish. It doesn't tell you you're Asian. It doesn't tell you you're African. It doesn't give you no real descent telling us that we're black. And then, of course, they're going to try to connect us to Africa, but it's kind of obvious that we're two different kind of people. It's not the mix of an African and a white person. I could show you the mix of African white people and so on and so on across the pond. It's all the mixes, all the colors. The colored people are across the pond. We only really had the race of whatever you want to call us, the black race here. And it comes in all sorts of colors, just like the African person did as well. So you got to understand what's going on from then, very beginning, to now. The key word is Asiatic Africans. Okay, Asiatic Africans. I don't want to really get too much into the Asian talk, but this is what it's all about. And we're going to show you what these, I got to find another word for them because I'm not going to keep saying their names and it causes an issue because their power is serious. If you want to know who the man really is, if you want to know who the man really is, it's the Asiatic African. They are one of the same people, and I could prove that. That's not even up for debate. So only why I'm advising you about the Asiatic African people and the black people, because it's obviously a different of the whatever you want to call it, okay? So we're going to take a look at some of the Asiatic African people that they're stating started in Africa of life and then went into Asia, then India, British, French, English, it went into so we're gonna color. I'm gonna get to a color coding of the continents, the ethnicities, and show you how they started to intermix. Where some people were becoming Greek, Spaniards, some people were becoming French with certain mixes, then they started to intercess, which probably caused them to become more inclined of their ethnicity of being white Greek. In Italian, Spanish, they call them dark and handsome and things like that. Irish, we'll get to that, of the mixture of the Aboriginal person that's from Mexico. We're gonna get to that. The mix of those people. If I'm gonna have things that back it up, where it causes the red here, and which will make a Russian and an Irish person. It's the mixture of the Abergone. So listen, we're gonna get all to it. This is really just one world. They pretend like they couldn't get over here, but I'm gonna show you it's an easy back way right up over here from Africa. If you go to the back skirts and then go to the back skirts of South America, going down Honduras and all that stuff, Colombia, going on, going down the back areas of where the people came from, that they're saying that the Olmecs, whatever, are the real people. They came from back there. That could be accurate, but let's be honest. I'm pretty sure that the lineage of them had to spur from this beautiful, lineage of that water is coming from the Mississippi area. It's not going. It finally actually gets down that way, but it's obviously the water intake is flourishing that area. Anyway, it really doesn't even matter who came first or what came first. Is really about the lost technology, and I wouldn't say lost, I would say stolen. The free energy, the free this, that, blah. And we're going to get to all of that, of how everything was built in America. Don't let them make you believe that the infrastructures that are here today were built within the time frame of them being here during slavery times, where there was no real infrastructure. And then between that time to the 1850s, everything is up and running, and it looked like it's been there for a very long time. So they have a lot of holes in their stories. So I don't see why this is up for such a big debate. But the thing is, it's up for a big debate because it's a big group over there that probably wants this debate to be real. Okay, so this is why we don't argue. Well, I don't feel like arguing or doing something, because like at this point, it's like, how could you argue with people when there's so many? They have, like, think about it. Like, let's look at the map, about who they got and who we got. If you want to think about it that way, and then wonder why we got conquered. And I didn't show you the Asiatic African. I'm sorry. I told you this is all over the place. And I'm just going to do whatever I can, show you some free energy information, show you some infrastructures. I can go through all of these videos. It's videos where it gets creepy and scary. Let me just show you one. Because for the people that think that, like this is like the Freemason and all this stuff from the 1850s in San Francisco, they have a mausoleum. They have a mausoleum full of Masons in there. Okay? And I'm going to prove that the Asians and all of them are all interconnected, because if this group is the Orthodox Jews that came out of nowhere on the Coney Island beach and did all these expositions, right? If they were just like Orthodox, whatever, I'm not going to use that name. Okay, I'm not going to use that name because these people don't play, and then I like my channel. But if these are all the Orthodox Jews that came off of the in the 1850s, why do they have Asian people urns with the Baphomet sign? Are y'all getting a good view of this? It looks like it's a blur on here, which sucks. Okay, these are people that's really in. They have this big mausoleum for these people. So if this is information is so goofy, why do they have gold irons, bronze irons for these people in a beautiful mausoleum, a building that they probably didn't even build? Look at this beautiful building that's probably been there for a long time, and they put all of these people in there. Okay. So what creeped this guy out was that he couldn't find anybody that was buried or dead before the 1850s. Okay, which is weird, because if you guys been back and forth here since 16, when the sky melt, way blue, Christopher Columbus, whatever they call it, something made blue. If they've been here for that long, why no one is why we don't have any record of any deaths or any? Well, they don't. If they took the bodies back, but with the voyage at that time frame, that would be amazing. Where you're taking dead bodies back for an 8-month, tour back. So why no one was buried before 1850? That's weird. Y'all guys been hanging out here with plantations and doing all these things, but yet we have no information about y'all before the 1850s. Okay, so it gets even creepier in this place. Okay. So he basically goes to the elevator to the second floor. Now, mind you, I tried to show you clips where, as he said, it's like four floors. I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see this. It's giving a glare. So basically, he's saying he couldn't stop at the second or the third floor because it's restricted. But this is like a public place where people died and you just set flowers. So like, what's the restriction of the second and third floor? Listen, it could be working on things, and who knows, they needed the area where it has to be restricted, which I doubt. I think it's some, if this is a hole full of masons, and I'm gonna show you how they got, like, they really not playing, like they really have all of them in here, like, and it's like hundreds of that, like, 50,000 and 60, like 50 to 60,000 of these people. And I don't know what the reef means, so if anybody knows what exactly the reef means, that would be great to let me know. And then they go on to having they go on to showing you like these leaves, like it will be like this person, or whatever, and then they'll be in the middle, and then they'll be surrounded by a bunch of people with these leaves. I don't know if these are the fake Indians they came over here with their mixtures, and I'll go over how to mix the mixtures of the Indian is Asiatic and whatever else they're mixed with, and they brought them over here to, of course, confuse the crap out of you guys, to be like, oh no, the Indians look like that. But it's like, well, where were they? Like, we've been living here for a long time. They've been fighting these Indians and all this stuff, but yeah, no one went to school with them. No one, you don't see them in the shopping areas, like where they're working for a living. Like, and I know you probably think, oh, they made these deals and they got them into a reservoir. Okay, but it's a whole land. It was supposed to be a whole land. Did you see the maps full of teepees, teepeed out? Which did you see the infrastructure we have? We weren't living in teepees. You know what I'm saying? So, where do you get these people from? So anyway, but you already know what it was for. It was for the time switch, where they did a time flip. They brought people in. They talk about the slaves. That 10 million slaves came on a ship. Probably, I don't know what they were doing with these people, but only 350,000 or some in that range made it to America, and the rest of you guys went towards the back skirts, like I told you, where the Moors and them already knew where we were at, and brought them back over, because mind you, they got kicked out. So anyway, this is gonna be very confusing, and they make it that way. So no one would really have a real clean slate of explaining this stuff. So, yeah, they took all the other slaves, millions and millions of slaves, to the back skirts of, like I told you, where the Aboriginals were, going down from the South Carolina and that Mississippi River, going into Mexico. And as I stated, it continues on. I'm trying to find the map, because it's easier to show you guys the map and explain than me just saying it. And then, like, I'm gonna get all in that Tartari too. Tartaria, where people are like, oh, this was Tartaria. Mind you, they told you guys that before anybody came over here, sneaking and creeping over here, it was the Asians got here in the 1400s. And I'm gonna show you the timelines of, obviously something happened between the 1400s to the 1850s, where the ball changed, okay? That's when they stole the information. They got the Statue of Liberty, they got enlightened, and then their old world became a new world. Nothing new to us. Old to, just like Instagram, like old to you, new to you. You know what I'm saying? Old to you, new to me. That's what really basically happened, Yeah, I am from New York. Yeah, so anyway, I'm trying to be serious today. So, because education is very important to me, and I'll tell you why it's kind of like important to me, because like if you know the information you know, and then like your whole family and your whole, like, I know like a lot of my information from my history, I would love to show you my like family and stuff like that, but they would die. You know what I'm saying? But like literally you could tell what's going on without my family, and I could kind of like show you where my family is from, and we literally, I could go back as far as Big Mama, and that's where Martin and them stole that information from. Big Mama was like these women back in the days, like Southern women, and I would say Southern women, but who knows what they were acknowledging before. I believe they were acknowledging themselves as like, Virginians, or Michigandans, like that. and not Americans or something like in that nature. But these women used to have children, 17 kids, 18 kids. I don't know how many people live from the South or whatever, but everybody know they Big Mama used to have like 17, 18 children. And it's weird that that doesn't occur no more. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot what I was trying to say. Yeah, so I could go as far as back as Big Mama, which is my grandmother's mother, and then I can actually see I have pictures and information of my Big Mama's parents. Not I don't know who the husband to make my grandmother Big Mama was, but I know Big Mama's mother and father, but I don't know the father of But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that that goes back about close to like the early 1900s, possibly could be the late 18s. And if I tell you that ain't nobody was no slave in my family and they had land and houses, I don't get the narrative. The narrative makes no sense when you could go back as far as you can and it doesn't trace you nowhere near Africa. Even when I get to Big Mama's parents, they look like, I wish I could show you the pictures, as you could clearly see there's no Asian African or anything. Now, it could be some type of mixes going down, but probably not as of yet in the 18s to 16s. They were still intermixing America at this point. Now, America probably looks like Africa. You know what I'm saying? At this point, we're a melting pot. People are all mixed out together, so I can't tell nobody to say, "Oh, go home" or something. Which that's not even a concept that I do, or I don't even get the concept of that because this is one world. Okay, this is one world. Only thing we're confirming is that it's people from certain places where you're from. I don't know if you get certain kind of radiations or whatever the case may be, but these people were able to do certain things. And the thing is, I feel like all of us could do the things because they were able to learn and take on to do for themselves in their country, to enlighten their country and things like that. So I don't think it's something that where you're like, oh, you have to be born here and you have to be special. Like some people be saying like, oh, we're gods and we're this and we're that, other groups. And it's just like, bro, I think everybody could do it. It's just like when you go to the job and they be like, oh, you be looking like, what the hell is this? And then within a week or two after work and looking at the minute, it's kind of like you could eat your snacks and still be doing your job. Like you got it down pat. So I'm pretty sure it's like some type of, and the chemistry that I think that's involved with the free energy, I think it has something to do with the crystals, maybe some metal, some wax. I don't know, where things like I think it's something with the crystals that probably help, like with the black box, whatever is going on with the black box. I feel like it helps levitate. We have black boxes in the airplanes, so I think that attributes to how it levitates in airborne. It helps. It's like a magnetism where it works with the free energy. We have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? But they won't give us that information. That's probably information that was stolen, and they take it because it's like the concept of Jay-Z, he's down with the crew, with the Asiatic, and I'm gonna get all into that, or how their lineage goes down and down and down, and then it goes into the celebrities that works with people like us, well, not, people like that's from at times where they're saying, oh, well, they're black or whatever, they're intermixed now. But the thing is that you got people that's black or whatever, that's mixed with Asiatic or whatever the case may be, and when I say Asiatic black, I'm Asiatic African, I mean Asians, French people, British people, Irish people, Australians, everybody. Because like I said, we're going to see the contents of how everybody intermixed over there and how it wasn't going on over here. We had our own thing going on. They had their own thing going on. And then when they got a whiff of what was going on over here, not only did they want it in, they wanted to, like Jay-Z said, it's like he's a hustler, baby. It's like selling water to a well. Like, bro, you selling us free energy that was you took the free energy for it's no more free now. And then I could show you a commercial when they had the Tom Ford cars coming out with the T-Birds and all that, the cars where as I could show you way before that they already had cars and electric trains and electric buses and before the 1800s and stuff. So it's like, who cared about the T-Bird in 19 something? So they started to dumb you guys down. They started to dumb people down going down the lines. Like, really is so not intelligent. Snatching all the technology and then starting from scratch. And then you see, once they ran out of ideas, they start to regurgitate, which is the state that they've been doing since the 70s. They've been regurgitating the music. They've been regurgitating everything that they could think of because they cannot move forward. Maybe because they weren't the original originators of the technology. So it probably isn't moving forward as it should, because it's in the wrong hands. I have no idea. Don't care. Yeah. So let me just. I swear, if it wasn't so many damn pictures, I just want to stop. I'm gonna do a video on the transgender.
Yeah, ask you a few questions. Who told you to get that? Who told you to do that?
She's acting like a little boy. Like, I'm
What did
telling
I
you,
tell you?
this is the little boy that's
No.
like, oh, I think I'm gay and
What
I
did
think
I
I'm
tell
about to be gay. This is not how females act.
Tell them what I told you.
I don't know if people are familiar with like little boys that are like, want to be, and I don't care about it. I'm just telling you, I know. Waka Flocka's daughter, this one, a couple other of them I can't think of right at the top of my head. They are over the top female, and the way when you take a good look,
Come here. Yeah, ask you a few questions.
are you sure this is born female?
Who told you to get that? Who told you to do that?
Me, myself, and I.
What did I tell you?
Don't that remind you of the guys that be like, I'm telling you, they're all like these are little boys that they turn into girls from day one, and I'm gonna show you footage of them telling you that this is what they were doing with their children, that it's kids that they were putting on a boat and stuff with families and saying that they were their parents just for them to come to America and stuff. They brought a boatload of children, forced children that's in the foster care, whatever they got them from. Okay, so this is a good picture of what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So these are the ones that's the Olmecs or whatever, like in that descendant range. Now it's clear as day where we're getting the Asiatic African situation from, right? I mean, it's not hard to explain where we're getting that from, right? Then they also have, people like this. This is where the Muslims and the Indian people start to derive. Then we have also the African men. And of course we have people that was from America. I really don't have, the weird thing is I don't have no pictures of people that I could say that I was trying to represent this. They don't put us in no TV. They're not putting them, like, you're only going to get a lot of people that keeps giving you a resemblance of this. Or a resemblance of this. And this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I can't find no real picture. Like, I showed you that picture of them little boys, even though I think they were a little mixed. But I'm just trying to show you an example of how the Southern people looked out there. They were very light, fair-skinned type people, colored eyes. They had hazel, all the color eyes. Those kind of black people. They have like a copper, whatever color, and it comes in all colors, but it's that same kind of look, like a Tamar rice or something. But anyway, so I'm gonna show you that these people. This is Nipsey traveling with his father to this country when they were younger, which, like I said before, guys from the hood really ain't traveling to no country to go visit their family and stuff, and they play in the streets. But yet, this is what I'm trying to explain to y'all, that they're not from this. And this is what I'm trying to say, that he got deported. He didn't because it's been 400 years, and they work on cycles. And I'm gonna go over the cycles as well, because I believe they're flooding real regular people out, and then they go hide into caves, mountains, or they go to Antarctica, where I'm gonna show you where they habitate over there. And if you have a brain, you will understand that Antarctica, at one point the military did like a big jump or whatever. That's what it was called, the big jump. And then they go through like a lot of water and get to Antarctica, and it looked like they already had shops set up. It was already homes and stuff over here that was under a lot of ice and whatever. I never got to see the home. I never got to see the inside dwellings of how they living over there. But they just showed us the open door, and they showed us the chimneys that were sticking out of the snow. So, okay, you're going over there with the big jump, like you just got there, but everything is already set up. Homes and houses are already set up over there, and they're not even giving us a look into it, right? So it's like, okay, so you're going to jump ship over there, flood us out because they're controlling the weather, every 600 years. That's their cycle. We're in year probably 500 in this cycle. Next cycle will be starting, I believe, 2030. That will begin the new millennium. When we first began in Adam and Eve, we were in the old millennium. It was called the millennium something. So I'm not shocked that they're trying to start and end. Look, I'll get to all of that, okay? Of the ending of this biblical story of how they're trying to force this story. Like, we could go to the beginning of the story, and the end of the story ends this next sector. Let's see what happens, you know. But if you keep going, if history is actually repeating itself, which it is, because they are making it repeat itself. It's not a coincidence, not by accident. This is all by design. So the fact that they're making history repeats itself, we got probably something, you know. We'll probably be gone, but your generation X, is going to probably be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but I can show you the chart and how exactly they do the cycles. Since the 1850s or something like that, it seemed like it was the Great Reset, and then everybody started with like 16 grandparents, I believe, from there. Because I believe they said something like that, and then if you go down the cycles of the 16 parents, we're in cycle 5. That cycle 5 is our time frame of 100 years, which I will be allowed, and other people that grew up in my time frame. I don't know. It's hard to explain, and I'll try to explain the time frames to you guys. I have it all in here, but as you can see, it's bad, and I'm gonna have to do. I just wanted to like really come and just like do a ground history, you know, and then I'll probably try to like make it make more sense. But that's why no one can make sense of it, because it's so broad that is like, even if you try to make it make sense, it's hard, because we're talking about time frames that interlap with each other. When they're saying they're in the 1900s or something like that, they're actually in the regular 900s or 500s. So when you see when China was in reign, or was in reign in 14 something, that was the 1400s when they sneaked over. When they said, because you have to search for that information, that they said the first actual people over here was the Asiatic people, whatever, right? So and it makes sense, because ever since the 500 over here, 15 over there, 1500 over there, that's when they began their enlightenment process for their 1500, if that makes any sense. But it was really 500 over here, but they realized that they were 1,000 years behind us, so they had to catch up with their story. Or the fact that they tried to steal the coin situation, where we had the J's and they had the I's. I mean, it's obvious they said if the J's were for Julius, but they know that the J really probably was for Jesus times and our stuff, but it would not make no sense over here. So they made it seem like the J was for Julius, and then they turned it into a I, which was, they didn't say it was an I. At some point, you got to admit it was an I. It's obvious it was I's there. But then when they realized that the time frames are not interluing, that they had to up it 1,000 years so it could seem like they had done it first. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, oh, well, I did something in the year 500. And they'd be like, well, I did that 1,000 years ago. So they're adding 1,000 years to act like they were there first. And the I's with the coins stood for most likely Isis, which is the god that connects mostly all of them. That's the Africans and them. That's what they like. It's also mixed with the Greeks. So you see even their gods interlude. Does that make any sense to you guys? Okay. So the I stood for their Isis, and then we all know that she was also known as Thorn or something in the Greek mythology, which this person that is Isis, Thorn, or whatever, played both roles of Lucy and Lucifer. That's where they get those names from. So you see how all that intercollaps with African, with Greek, and also Asiatic, if that makes any sense. And they all, you might as well say cousins, because they live right next to each other. It's like, I mean, how could you not feel like you are not related and you're like next door, you know? And that, yeah, so anyway. So that's the scam. The scam started from when they first took heed of how people were living in America. The scam started then. The plot started at that point, and that's when time frames started to warp. Okay, sometimes people gotta understand that time frames is just to hold places of memories. It's not really a real concept. You know, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like time is not like a real. It's just a placeholder. It's for you to remember a moment in that time frame. but you know, time is like it's like a evolution situation. Okay, like these people right here. So the Comanche people, if you Google Comanche, it goes back to like England. And if you Google the names, you'll start to understand the scam of it all. You could clearly see this is an Asiatic mixed, probably guy from their area, Indian or whatever, that is over here. As you can see clearly here, she looks more Asiatic here. All right. This guy right here clearly was an Indian from America. I mean, from Britain or something, and they tried to push him over here. This is the mix of the cultures in Africa through the Asiatic person. They're making all of these people. Okay, they're making all these phenotypes. That's where the colored people come from. Look at this lady. She's actually up to no good. Okay, I'm from the hood. She up to no good. Okay, who knows what part she played in this? Okay, look at the Sarah Barton lady, the lady that was on display, Asiatic African woman. Okay, just trying to explain to you the difference. If you guys can't see the difference of the two black groups, it's too bad for you. It's a big difference in the prominence of the skull structure. It's a difference, and I have pictures of the skulls as well. So, different structure, different people. Okay, don't be rude. Don't be rude. Everyone has their own way. So if you're Greek and you're mixed more with Asian and this and that, so what? Like that's just what it is. So Tartarian. A lot of people are trying to say that Tartaria at one point. They tried to push this in around the 1400s. That's that cold number again. Every time we go into history, you see the timelines of what was going on in France and this and that. It'll be like, oh, 1500, this and that. Nothing else was going on during this time period. You got to understand that the real time frame is from we're in 2000 or something. We only been for about 3,000 years. Okay, and then the Egyptians tried to steal that story. Egyptians are Asiatic. Almost Indian type people. That's where when they showed Cleopatra and stuff, and people were like, why are they showing she's white? She should be black. No, I think they were pretty accurate in depicting how she looked like. This lady was mixed with Asiatic. She was mixed with Asian. You understand what I'm saying? So that's probably where they're getting the dark straight here. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, she probably looked like that. And they're mad saying, oh, she should look African. No, that's just the way you guys were coming out. Okay? Yeah, so let's keep it moving. So now I don't mind. That's why it sounds so racist, but it's not about that. It's a difference. It's an as above, so below situation going on, where it's not because they're from Africa and we're from America. I believe it's because it's like I said, it's like a Seth and Osiris don't get along clashing. That's why they always say like black people are your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Or like, they'll be like, oh, your own kind or something like they're always saying that. These sayings are everything. Sayings, I don't know what it's like, you know, like seance, something like when you start repeating a lot of sayings and who made up sayings? Who made up sayings? You know, like, I mean, let's be honest, like most of the sayings is like a southern type thing. I know people probably like, oh, my grandmother used to always say that, but we have sayings, like, we don't play. It be stuff that we say, and that's like Bible. Like, them sayings ain't no joke. But anyway, yeah, let's keep it moving. I'm not gonna be on here for too much longer because I've been here for 47 minutes and I really didn't even get not even a scratch of what I'm trying to explain. So anyway, Tartarian came around the 1400s, and guess who they are familiar with? And I'm going to show you all the T's, and the T's are connected to the Asians, the Z's and the Y's are connected to the Africans. Like Yale and stuff was most likely a descendant from like the Africans. That is their language, that's their words. They had the Y's. The Hebrews and them had the I's, and or you know, all of them had the I's, the Z's. The Greeks got the Z's. We had the J's. Now I'm going to tell you guys, let's be honest, how many people you know, like with these biblical names, and I don't care about England. England is like, y'all got to be kidding me with England, with English. Like, England is surrounded by a bunch of countries that don't speak English. How is that even possible? How can this part of the country, in that part of the region of England, is the founder of English, and everybody else around you don't speak no English? They speak French, they speak Swahili, they speak Swedish, they speak Russian, they speak, everybody over there speaks Babylon, you know, they all speak Babel. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that they got the English language. You know, they owe English because they don't know what they doing. You know, so and I say that because the Smith. How many black people you know named Smith? Okay, how many black people you know named Johnson, Jackson, you know, Jacob. So in those names, those biblical names, Jacob, James, Joseph, whatever the. Who, how many people? I mean, you could say, oh, I know plenty of them named Jacob and Joseph and James. But let's be honest, that is black people names. Like, and we did not, excuse me, that was a fly. And we did not get that from no slave masters. When you go over to England, when you go over to France, when you go over to Spain, Spaniard, their last names ain't Johnson, their last names ain't a great whatever, you know. I can't really think of all these ethnic names that you know that's ours. Their names is other, it's like names I can't even pronounce. I'll be at my job like, yo, like I can't even pronounce these names. So when you're coming from those countries, your names are not simple English names. Mary, Joseph, all that stuff came from here. My big mama name is Mary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all those, and I'm pretty sure you know a great from the great, all their names is Mary and Joseph. So it's like, where are we missing? What are we missing here? All your great grandparents' name is James and Joseph and all that. And they did start to have their names incorporated. But that's the mirroring and the stealing, because they know that the most of their people in that area, their last names aren't Johnson, James, and Jackson and all those things. Maybe Jackson, but you know what I'm trying to say, because those names derive from us. So anyway, if you really go through the names, that makes sense. Now with the G's, I don't like the G's. The G's is like a conformant of like with the Greeks, and I'm telling you, I can really. It's hard. Just like with Q, like the Q's are with the Quran, you know, just like with QAnon and that's they're all internet. Why you think like those certain people? I don't want to mention these people no more because like they're annoying, you know, like they're over there promoting stuff and they're selling the movie. We've been in this movie for 3,000 years. Stop listening to those people. They're helping these people. They're a part of it. That lady is 3% of the Asiatic. You know, they're like, oh, I'm from these you know, they're mixed with this and that, but you know what that is like. So it's just like you think that they're helping you because they're black. That's where we go wrong. A lot of these people, they look black, like okay, this person looks black, but they're not really black. They're mixed with Asiatic African and Spaniard and things like that, and then they were taken over to this Americas and these little islands and things like that. So like I said, I don't have a problem with like a West Indian or a Caribbean person, because let's be honest, you guys didn't start intergrouping until like the 8, you know, like whatever slavery started. It's clear as day that they're saying that, you know, these people or people that were all in these islands were starting to intermix, which is causing you guys to be Dominican and Jamaican and you know, Haitian and things like that. So it's like you know, how could you even be, because people were like, oh, the West Indians came and take over the jobs and stuff like that. That's accurate information, because they're part of their group. Down the line, they were helping these people establish and accomplish what they needed to accomplish. So maybe they do get the upper hand of the jobs and things like that. And also the main objective is to keep the toughest competitor at the bottom. Every time you see any strategic game, they're like, we got to get the best competitor out. So, you know, they're never going to, like, sometimes I used to go to jobs where I felt like I was not getting the same opportunities that, you know, you would think other people that looked like me were getting, if that make any sense. But then you start to realize, oh, it's because I'm kind of like a native here, and we don't really have no contacts, no groups. And then these other people, like if you go to the health system or things like that, they have their groups there, you know, and they'll get hired just because they're their group. But we're all black, right? No, we're not. That's when you start to realize we're not all black. Stop following people. If you have some friends that's like West Indian and stuff like that, okay, great. But at the same time, don't follow some of them that are a part of things that they won't tell you they're a part of, you know, and their families live well, and they do all these things, and they're part of these little, you know, communities and stuff. And I want to say communities because you could go to church and won't have no idea what's going on. But then it's just like with the hierarchies, like, They're only going to tell you about the princes and the kings and stuff. They're not going to tell you about the people that lived around them. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same situations in here. Some people are part of things. They may look like you, but they're a part of things. So it's cool to be cool with people that look like you and won't have nothing. Like I might be this and that, but I don't have nothing to do with that stuff. I came here poor, not poor, whatever. We came here humble and we work regular jobs. Okay, great. You might not have nothing to do with anything because, mind you, they mess up their own people. The African people sold their own people. The Muslim people sold their own people. Those Russian people assimilated their own people. So don't think for 1 second that we're like, oh, all of you people are bad. No, we're talking about the 1%. 1% is very small, and it's all groups involved. It's all including people that look like me. They done made their deals. Most of them are the celebrities. You see, most celebrities, they're most black people. They're mostly the most sought after people and white people. And I'm sorry to tell most white people, a lot of white people are not from the other countries. Some of them derived, their colors and stuff derived here, and some of them are from like the South and stuff like that as well, where they don't trace back to, you know what I'm saying? And they'll be like jokes saying like, oh, like we're trading this black person for this white person. They could come to the barbecue. In all reality, this black person was probably like some Asiatic African person or something like that nature. And their behaviors is as you think white people are supposed to be, and you know it's just the way they are in their way. And then you know, white people that you're saying is cool or like we get the vibe, it's because like they're probably native from here, if that makes any sense. Now I'm not saying they're 100% native like from here, but majority of them could be into the mixture. Like, you know how light we can get. I can show you people from my family. It's like you get really white and you still be black. So it's like, don't think that can't transition into people. Did you like? It was stories during the slavery times where they're saying people that were black, mother was the paper bag color, but their children went on to being very light and looking, and they were able to be in communities of white people live, but could never visit their mother or let them. You know, like he was sneaking. It was like something I learned in college. It was like little. You know, because I took a liberal arts, so I got a degree, so we went through a lot of stuff like that. But where and then he went back for his sister, and then she had a bad time out trying to pretend she was white. In the times where they were being more successful, but they were able to pass as white, and a lot of people could probably advise you of that situation where they were thinking they were French and things like that, where they are very light, creamy color. Because the French people were mixed with African and things like that with the Asian, like, let's be honest, they're saying that African people came out in the Neanderthal or something like that, took a bit of them, and then they started to become Asiatic, and then they went on bubbling from there with the atmosphere not getting to their skin and them not having as much, you know, radiation, because the sun is giving a radiation type effect, which causes the color in our skin. And if your skin is not, if you're not absorbing what you need in certain atmospheres, you will end up with certain conditions of your skin, which is probably lightening of the skin, not having as much melanin of the skin, and things of that nature. So now, mind you, if we get into that, not having that much melanin of the skin, right, with groups that are going outskirt from the equator of where the radiation and heat come from, and then they're starting to get whiter, like really white looking Asian, because as you could say, Asiatic people could be as very dark and very white as they need to be. So when you get in these Greek and stuff people, and they're really, really white looking, is because of the mixture of that I don't know where I'm trying to go with that. It's hard. So anyway, like the Neanderthal, right? Let's get back to the Neanderthal. Let's be honest. They came out of nowhere and then they dipped, right? And then when you see pictures of them, it kind of like reminds you of the Olmec type people. So if the Olmec people were coming from Mexico and they were coming out and then they hit Asia, could they not have encountered? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how they started to slightly turn from African to Asiatic, and it's clear as day. You can't miss the features. If this is the Olmec people, then okay, they will, you know, and then they have articles saying is the Asian a black, you know, is Asian a black man. This wasn't a good idea, people. I'm telling you, when I say it's so much in here that I just can't find nothing, that this wasn't a good idea. I'm gonna have to subgroup it so it could be more clear to you guys. And just to show you some more Tartarian stuff with the red brick. As you know, the bricklayers and people like that was obviously over here. We have brick roads, like our whole roads were brick. So it's like the fact that they are talking about the masons, the bricklayers, and the person. Obviously, Jesus was the reference. I don't think these people are real people. I think that, to tell you the truth, Jesus, the name Jesus, I think that it was a reference of people, like these people used to be carpenters. They used to do this, and they went around and built the world and came back at 33, and you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what, like, and I'm not saying the world, but like in our area, like these men were carpenters and farmers and da da da. You know, that's what I think the story of Jesus is, and it's just in analogies of the time of what people were doing Jesus like. But at the same time, I think it could have been a name, but not Jesus. Like, they have the J. But if you really think of the terminology of Jesus, it's kind of sounding like the Jesuits and Zeus, Jesus mixed together. So one thing about me, if you understand the ethnicity in the world, they have their own languages and word and letters and things like that. So when I do come across certain letters like Tartaria and T's and Tazars, do you know who the Tazars are? That the Tazars was the Asians and the Russians. It's like looking to that emperor in them ancient times of how they come down. So I already understand that anything that comes with like Tartarian or it's an Asiatic word. So, you know, you could sit there and say this used to be Tartaria, but it's like, bro, you're still falling for the Asiatic scheme that they're pulling here. And now you know why Biden, Joe Biden, signed that deal. They're all related. they're all working for the Asiatic African man. If you guys don't understand that circle of how they all are interconnected, the Asian African man is the dominant of this group, and then it goes on to all the people they have fathered, and they work together. The top people in these groups, in the United Nations, they work together. Anybody in the United Nations is lineage to that those Tazars and those emperors. These are not just, they're not picking these people out of group. These people are already set to be, okay? Including our celebrities. So I just don't want you guys to think like, oh, I didn't make it or I didn't do this. That's not the case. This is all by design. It's already in the stars for them. It's set up, okay? And we need to get to the free energy, man. Like I wanted to really get here. This is probably what they were able to do to make all that infrastructure. This is probably what they were able to do. To be able to move the infrastructure and do what they were doing. If you got this kind of energy, wouldn't you be able to move big sand bricks and make a pyramid? Or be able to do certain things? And I just want to shout out everybody that's here, because I know I've been here for a long time. And I wasn't even expecting not too many people to be here, because I don't even like go live. So the little bit of people, thanks for being here. And yeah, let's keep going. So the free energy, if you remember, and I'm going to start quoting a lot of movies, because the movies and all this music, all this stuff, it literally just talks about this process of the world. And they're literally selling us just the way of the world. Like, that's all they're selling us. And as I told you with the T-Bird, I'm sorry I'm jumping all over the place, because I'm not scripted. I'm not like Hassan Kim that be looking at the thing and they be, you know, and I'm not saying they don't freelance, but they have specific topics and they hit the specific points, because they're not going to get a big, broad panel like that, you know. They're not going to get a big viewing if they're saying anything like me, and they don't know what's going to come out their mouth. So they're not going to give people like, you know, me a big giant platform. I'm not saying I can't get a platform, big platform, but I'm just saying, like, with the 50, 100 something thousand views for no, just like the other guy, Mama's Cooking, like, he comes out of nowhere and he's like 100,000 views in, and he's talking about taking Snapchats when you're gonna have a million, you know, earn millions of dollars in life, and you're over here trying to infiltrate on YouTube and get Snapchats and stuff for people that's trying to make their own doors because you guys are so corny. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to come over here and take the Snapchats and take the, you know, the YouTube viewers and be like, oh, yeah. That's like, oh, and then you can't even be mad at the celebrity. You got to be mad at the people. Why you guys keep listening to them? Why do y'all feel like, oh, listen to him? He knows, like, bro, it was regular people like me, like IMC's conscious ex, conscious daughter. It's mad people like regular people like us that's like out here saying stuff just like Mama's Cooking but not in an infiltrating way, in a real way, because you know that's all they're doing. They see that as a buzz on here, that people really doing that truth stuff, and the mad people tuning in. Now they're going to have their puppets jump over it. And they already had them, but they get more like, yo, y'all got to come in here, because they over here telling the truth, and y'all got to tell some two truths and a lie. You know what I'm saying? They just telling the truth. But we got to get our celebrities in here to get intermixing your truths, like saying stuff that we would say, that would be like, oh, yeah, they saying the same stuff y'all saying. Yes, and then they're going to start saying other things too. Like, they keep tricking y'all like that. You can't mess with none of them. You can't mess with none of them. They're perfect. Do you see the Mama's Cooking Boy background? Who you think team he's on? Blue or red? Who do you think he's going against? He just said something about Biden the other day. I was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's telling us, oh, ain't y'all tired of being F by these people? Don't you see the... I took some videos of what he was saying. I was like, wow, y'all really gonna listen to this guy? They got these people infiltrating y'all? It's not fair. We trying to do our best here, and they got them all over here popping crack. But anyway, let's just take a look at the coin.
Seems to be plenty of evidence already compiled by even mainstream sources indicating that Emperor Nero fits the bill of the Antichrist described in Revelation.
And what does Nero look like?
Internet search will yield numerous sources that have already correlated the biblical figure.
Aboriginal. He had red hair, so he's an Aboriginal mix.
Known as Emperor
They end up with red hair, and Nero was supposed to have been the hardest dude. So you understand what I'm saying? And that's the Aboriginal Olmecs and I'm trying to find those pictures still, the Olmecs. And those Olmecs that's mixed with something, it causes red hair. So Nero, is this red-haired guy that's just known as the baddest guy. So that's what I'm telling you, when they have these children and some of them come out red for no reason, their parents don't have red hair, and they come out red hair, is because they might be mixing these people with the lineage of their DNA and somebody else's DNA. You gotta have, I don't know how it works. And I'm gonna show you the incubator clips once I can find it. And you guys gotta understand, they color code everything. So this will basically, the red stands for Britain and Africa mixed. The black is like some type of, also it's like some Dutch, which is black and white as well. And then we have the green, which is Asiatic. So this is, when you see the flags, to read the flags, if you know the color coding of the regions, you'll see what this flag with their people are mixed with. Okay? And then this is from Dr. Umar. So I just want you guys to know that none of these people are down for the cause, because if you can see, the King Kong conscience, all of it starts with KKK. And everybody think KKK derives from these white people, but 9 times out of 10, that's probably why they wore sheets and things over them, because they'll say, oh, you don't want to see your judges and your politicians and your no, and you don't want to see some of these black people and some of these African people, some of these Asian people with them too. Like, you got to understand that it's a big scam going on. They all KKK. You understand what I'm saying? Dr. Umar is, he was like, oh yeah, I grew up right up the block from me. His house was two blocks up. Didn't I tell you they all live in the same areas? It's not. I don't know exactly how it works, like where they put them in like a small group, or if they just put them in a neighborhood. But a lot of them in the same neighborhood, so you know who's who. But trust and believe, they playing chess on the real streets too. I don't know why y'all don't know that. Like, what they playing chess on the real streets way more than they doing it on TV and stuff like that. So watch your back. Yeah, and know who's who. Okay. Yeah, so this channel. I advise you guys to get to this channel. It's called Useful Charts. He gives a great color coding of the regions and how all the 1% became as how they are today. He goes from ancient times to urban times. He even goes over Trump and how Kamala's all this stuff. But mind you have to watch what he says, because he is Jewish, and he does give some information, but then when I look, he goes over the whole world useful charts, right? But then he has nothing on, I believe, Australia, and he has nothing on other groups that I felt like was key points of what I'm trying to explain, how it connects. So I felt like he left it out on purpose, because it helps them make their stories make sense. So it's like, why would you leave the lineage out of the Russians and the Australians and things like that? Because those connections are the beginning of those connections from our side. But then if you go from Africa on back, it would be the British in them first. But if you start the lineage from our side going back, it would be the Honduras, the Colombians, and things of that nature, our Spaniards, and then the Irish and the Scottish and the, you know, in our area, in the Central Americas, and then it leans out. So it depends on who's the chicken or the egg. Is as above, as so below. We both had everything going on. At some point, I felt like it was all under, I believe it was the Aboriginals, the Aztecs, and then the other black people on this side. It started on an as above, so below situation there, where they clashed. And then they already said that it was people outside of the Garden of Eden that that were foreigners. And you know what I'm saying, and they weren't allowed in. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't know. That's probably why they did a reign of terror, because they said these Mongols were so brutal when they was coming through. And let's be honest, a Mongolian, I thought the Mongolians was the monks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And those are ancient African Asian people. Like, what? How many times do I say Asian in this thing? I hope I don't get in trouble. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying Asian, because I'm not saying any hate towards them. I have no issues with any group. I am doing this for educational purposes only. As of today, I have no clue on how would anybody get out of we were in we go from biblical to like, what is it, something times to medieval. Then I think we're in full blast evil at this point. You know what I'm saying? And if you pay attention to because it was 3, and now we're in 4, you know, and it's the cycles of, I think it's 14 and it equals 77, something like that. And I will have to look and show you how the cycle. We already completed 2, and we're in 3, and I believe we're going into 4. And I don't think they got anything planned after that. Okay, and that's why we're into all these speculations of the apocalypse, this and that. Nobody knows when it's going to happen because of the time frame that they played with. So if they didn't play with the time frame, we probably would know exactly what happened. But if you do the time frame like how I did it, and we're on the right track, then the next millennium, generation X, will begin in 2030, if that makes any sense, and will be in the last cycle. Anyway, the cycle of it will be the year 600. So you know what I'm saying? It'll be the 600, if that makes any sense. Like, because they only care about the trilogy of mother, father, and child, the trilogy, and then it's the generations of grandfather, father, and child. 3, if that makes any sense to you guys, it's a trilogy. So once you get from grandma, mom, and dad, they kind of, if you make it to the 4th cycle, they kind of like it's like a regurgitation. So you're not gonna remember anybody beyond 6. So that's why like some people be like, I don't know nobody more than junior, like John the 5th. At that, because if you go back from the reset of 1850, you wouldn't be but in the 5th generation. So you would not have a John 6, because you would have John 6 would have had to be born in like the 1800s to the 1700s, but they're not giving us any. No one has. These people are probably dead. Okay, so that's why you're not getting a 6 or a 7, because they reset every 600 years, possibly. Okay. And I'm gonna do the math on that, and I'm pretty good at math. I'm really good at math. Unfortunately, that's probably why people that's born in certain areas are so sacred geometry-ish, because the math ain't no joke. And I don't play when I come to and I cut and I do things and I design stuff. Just like in my outfit, like I did this from scratch. Like literally from scratch. You understand what I'm saying? No, I didn't buy the t-shirt, I didn't buy the leggings. I sewed it, and I put this all together. Only thing I gotta do is fold, do all these things, anyway. And as you can see, I'm not playing because I got little holes that I need to attach back. So, and only why I do that is because I'm just like I'm not a buyer. I'm a creator, I do what this is what we're here for. So if you guys don't understand how we have things, it's because somebody like me or whoever that has more access to better things is visualizing something in their head, and then they just pop it out. So these things aren't being creating themselves, we're creating it. So you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let's keep it moving. Gotta get out of here now. because this is not working out well. I'm just like all over the place. So, yeah, and their attraction with the owls.
Oh my gosh, 2 little baby owls just landed in our tree.
Well, they could. I don't got to show you
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Yeah, so their obsession with owls is because of their necks could do a 360, or the 3/6s or whatever. Is all about the evolution of how this world works. So 3/6 is if you start from Adam and Eve, if you look at that backwards, Adam spells Mada, which is if you is Ma-da. So Ma-da and N backwards is DNA, and then we have Eve, which is the evolution. Evolution is basically the night before an event occurs. So the Adam and Eve story, unfortunately to you guys, is most likely mythical. There probably wasn't no real man named Adam. Probably wasn't a real woman named Eve. This is probably just an understanding that you guys should have about the creation of mankind, of them saying that, hey, it was people out here at some point. It was a mom and it was a dad at some point out here, women and men. And at some point, these people got together, and then they figured out this creation that's happened. This is the eve of the creation of these two kinds getting together and doing the trilogy, the child. Okay? So, if I'm incorrect, let me be incorrect. But you already know that they work backwards. So when I threw everything backwards, it all fits into place. That's why when we talk about the Nile River and all this stuff about the Aboriginal and the Olmecs, this is all the same stories, but one happened over here. Like we got the Africans, the Neanderthals, the Asians. Then we got the Olmecs, and then we got the unknown people that won't give us no information about us. And it's just like we're gonna keep going back and forth about these stories. So we understand that it's a story being told, but it's just being told by different groups. Everybody wants to have their own lineage of how their mankind started. So that's where I think where they come from, where it's like Isis and Jah, or what other gods that they have, the Dami, Rala, but yeah, whatever, all the gods that are out here, let's be honest, they say it's gods, but then when you boil down to it, it seems like every culture really prays to one almighty, right? No matter what the name is, it's still, no matter how many gods they say, it's still one almighty that everybody is connecting to, no matter what name it is, right? So maybe everybody's just identifying to the same person that everyone knows they're aware of, the thing is, like, it's I feel like it's an intelligence behind it, and the intelligence comes from the technology that we had at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are utilizing that technology because I told you, they out there in Antarctica. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And that high jump that they did at some point when they was going through that water, when the military did Operation High Jump, let's be honest, wouldn't it make more sense now when they started doing spaceships, when they was going up in the air? Wouldn't it make more sense that those spaceships are being utilized to do the high jump? Wouldn't it be faster to get to Antarctica or order if the stuff you need, since it's all ice over there? I'm pretty sure they're not cooking. They're not cooking nothing in the ground over there. For who knows? They might be doing something on the inside, because they're not showing us that. But I think that the spaceships that they're shooting up through space. Don't let me get into space. When you get into, I want to show you these. I gotta find these certain clips. So when you get into space, they tell you, when you start looking at these maps, these ancient maps, the maps all are, you're not reading it right. So, you probably can read it however you want, but the purpose in the creation of these maps is to always center the city you're in, whatever city or place we're in. They want to have a center of this place, and then they do a 360 of space, of calculating what space we have in this 360. If you are in any cities or places like that, you will see that most of the stuff is a 360 situation. So you jump on a highway to get out this circle. So so I forgot, I lose train of thought. So yeah, the 360 circles. Yeah, anyway, because I lost my train of thought. Where I was going with that. But anyway, yeah, so the 3-6 thing matters. The mom and dad, the evolution of human, right? The humankind. So then we have the mother, the woman is X, which you know is 6. And that's why they probably say Lucy. You understand what I'm saying? And then the Y is men, which is probably what all of this stands for, possibly. You know, it could be Y chromosome. And also stuff like this is like east, because heading home outside of the opening of what they say is the opening of this vessel on how to get in and out, which I believe is the black hole, and there's no going in and out of that. But anyway, so they're calculating space, right? So they calculate space through a bullseye view of the center of the city. And the maps always face where the center eye is facing east. So when you're looking at a map, most of the time, the only thing they care about is centering the city, and then where's home from there, which is east. If you already know, east is coming back north, America. So they're all pointing their maps, no matter where they're at, heading east. So and it will be heading up. So you'll think north is the map heading up, when their maps are actually facing up as east. It's just the concept of the lady with the red shoes, the one to go home, Dorothy. Just the concept of Dorothy, where the wicked witch of the wicked witch of the west, and she was trying to get to the Glenda East lady, you know, to get home, to go east, find this lady to help her to go home. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know anywhere in Africa, wherever, where it's east to go home, but you know, it is over here in America. I'm just saying. But yeah. So if you get X and then Y, right? So X in gematria, obviously, if you look at it, it equals a combination of 3 and 6. If you add all of these numbers up together, you end up with 9 at the end. And the same thing with Y. You get 2, 7, which is 9. So you see where the 3, 6, and 9 trilogy comes from. The X is like a 3, 6, and the Y with 2, 7, it equals 9. Okay. Okay, something else connects with this, but I forgot what connects with this. Okay, so we got the X and the Y, right? I forgot where I go from here, because nothing is organized, okay? So we're just gonna have to skip over what point I was trying to make, because I don't know where to go from there. That can't be correct. Yeah, so the XY is the 9, right? So if you go to the mathematical chart, you'll see why 9 is such an important number to them. Because literally, this is the only number out the whole chart that equals itself. So when no matter what number you get 9 with gematria, you go to the lowest form, just like you know how you do fractions and all that. They'd be like, oh, put it to the lowest format or whatever. They're obsessed with that. They want you to do it to the lowest format all the time. So if no matter what, when you go down the number 9 column, it always equals 9, which no other number does that. So we got 9, then 18 is 9, 27 is 9, 36 is 9, 45 is 9, 54 is 9, 63 is 9. So, and then this is the only thing that does as above, as below. If this makes any sense to you guys. So the 9 does it as above, so below, because once it gets to 54, it does a backwards situation. So the non-time tables used to be so easy, because you just start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 5. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go backwards 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you do the same thing on the other side, and you got order. You know what I'm saying? It used to be math, easy. So you see what kind of brain there. You see the calculations. This stuff is the rabbit hole is deep, and it's not none of the scary stuff that they talk about. They mess with these kids and taking them, absolutely. And I'm gonna explain to you why they're doing it. They're not doing it for fun. A lot of people, when they were being born in the areas that are not getting a lot of radiation, things like that, and the skin is not having as melanin and things like that the body needs, they would have to have a certain diet to continue to to continue to survive, if that makes any sense. So like say like people in Alaska, they're not getting enough sunshine, they're not getting this, they're not getting that, so they'll eat probably like blubber or this and that has high vitamin D or this and that to compensate the fact that their skin is not absorbing the sun vitamin D of what they need in their body. So these people have certain diets, right? So if you're not able to get access to the certain diets of things that you need in certain time frames that they're saying, like in countries that they didn't have, of course they're gonna start become cannibalists. They're gonna start to eat people and have their blood and things like that, because guess what? That's what they need the sufficiency of those vitamins and things. They're gonna have to intake it some way. So if some people were probably transitioning into doing it, it could have been a cause of them being deficient of things they need and could cause a cannibalism situation. Just my ideologies. I don't know these things for a fact, but it could be a reason why. It happened in the areas that it looked like they were deficient. So why, if it is happening in these areas, this could be the cause of it. Anyway, so we're back to the chart. So if you go to 3 and 6 as well, 3 and 6 always equals like 3, 6, and 9. It goes back and forth with like 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, like in a sequence. So these numbers are very important to them because the rest of the numbers don't do sequences the way 3, 6, and 9 does. All right? So it's very important to them, most likely mathematical wise. It's important. And things like that where they could, it helps them build and it helps them create, they are going to incorporate it in their life. It's very important details. Okay, so anyway, I don't really, and I wanted to also just show in the mausoleum here, where they had all the Masons people, where it's clear as day they have Mason people because they have it literally on their headstones. What? You may want to look at this whole video. This stuff is good. It shows, I wanted you to see that it shows Chinese people names. So I'm like, hello, told you guys. This is proof that they came with the orthodox people that came here in 1850, that Jewish people. And I have footage of them in camera too. It's like 1 or 2 of them sprinkled, and I'm like, it's clear as day that's an Asian guy. Now, I'm not saying that the Asian people weren't assisting or working with each other. I'm just saying that they never advised us of that. They're not giving us the full details of the stories. They're just leaving a lot of people out because we didn't know you worked with the Asians at that time. You know what I'm saying? They weren't telling us that. But yet here they are in the same mausoleum with these people. You see? Okay. That's 1896 he was here. Chong Lu. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what's going on? You know, that don't make any sense. Okay? And did you see most of these names? Do it look that American to you? Most of these names are stolen. But if you look at the last names, let's start taking a look at some of these last names. Some of these people don't even have last names. I think a lot of these people are made up. If you look at some of these dates, they didn't live long. They lived like at 20. Some people lived to like 3. Some people lived to like I think they just got rid of a lot of people at this point. Look at these. Look at the family that they're saying like this is how they look like. Look at this. Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay. Does the mother really look like a mom? Look at that lady. Look at her. Really think that's they were playing games from day one. They said that they were bringing transgender men and bringing the foster children over, acting like they were the parents of children so they can come over here. I have video of that they were stating that transgender men that were coming with children that weren't theirs and saying that they were bringing boatloads of children over with them. Okay. So this is what I also wanted to show you. With the globe, with the map, as you can see, we're on like a great plain. Okay. So a lot of people think that when they see the globe as a 3D shape, the only thing they're doing is 3D shaping it for you. They're just giving you an interlude of, look, we're circular. Okay, it doesn't mean that we're on an actual round circle plane. They're just trying to advise you that the waters and everything is 360 and like a toilet bowl. Okay, so everywhere we live, we're circulating, and it happens as well as with the water currents. Okay, so no matter where you live, you're always going to end up being able to circulate in this whole world. You know, so for them to act like they couldn't get over here, because if you look at the image on a 360 scale, it kind of looks like it's far away. But if you put it on a flat plane, you can see that we're actually just circulating in like a toilet bowl. So if these people were saying, "Oh, we're from Africa, this and that," and then you got tell you the truth, I can't really see which part is this. I think this is the Americas, right? And this is Africa. So if it's a point where they were able to come to the back skirts of, and you understand what I'm trying to say? Because of the circulation, it kind of connects. And you guys you can't really see it that way. Let me see. It's more like this. And these are all old maps. These maps are like this for a reason. As you can see, it's like we're in a crater, and they already told you, like Bill Nye, the science guy, already told you it's not a cylinder. They already explained it's not a cylinder. So whatever it is, it's not a cylinder. They already said it's pear shaped and things like that. Won't this look more pear shaped, like a protruding something? And then I don't know. I wouldn't think this is pear shaped, but they said it was pear shaped. So it's not cylinder. At least we know it's not cylinder, right? So when you're thinking like, oh, well, this, if you're looking at a cylinder, it's like, oh, this is all the way across. But in reality, you could kind of come through the back way, or through, if you go against the current, you could probably hit the Americas way easier than going against the current. So that's probably something that they figured out, or I think people already knew. And when they wanted to come back, they did what they wanted to do. Other people that probably, this continent is so big, probably didn't understand that it's people that knew how to get here way easier than going across 6 months. They had a shortcut through the back way. But anyway, let's keep that moving. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that these Chinese people were here, that these Asian people were here, and they didn't tell us anything about these Asian people being here at very early ages. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when they brought them over here like this. They needed little armies, you know what I'm saying? They needed little armies, so they started getting these kids. It says, in 1,000 of children reset people just appeared on the scene a few hundred years ago. This is year of the Millennium Kingdom. This is when the biblical times are happening in year 500. They claim, but in reality, it really was the year 1500 for them, because they're 1,000 years back. So for us, it was 1500. For them, they're in I-500. If that makes any sense. And it's hard to explain it. Only why they give you the I-500 is because they want to act like they're more ancient. But we were really in 1500, and they were in I-500. So instead of them feeling stupid, instead of being behind us 1,000 years, they just, instead of saying it was an I, it became a 1. Okay? But we were actually in the 1500s here. But they were in the 500s there. They were old, the old world, they were behind. Okay? They were not enlightened yet. Okay? So don't worry about the time frames. Just worry about the time frames of what they were in and what they explained to you, but it may not be the same situation of what somebody else was in at that time frame, in that moment.
As you could say, it serves as a countdown. During the kingdom, a 3-digit dating system was used, usually preceded by the letter I. It is believed that this letter I stands for Isus or Jesus, which means Jesus in Greek and Latin. There seems to be several other variations of the spelling.
Did I tell you? The Jesus and the Jesus name. She like the Greek and the Latin. The J with the J, not, it's like ours is like Joseph, I think ours would probably be something else without the E. You know, the E is what's throwing me off, and then the Zeus, Jesus part. So I'm not saying that it's not accurate, because I know the Christianity is accurate. The people in the South don't play about Christianity or God, none of that. So I know it got to be something accurate, but the names, and we done got everything ripped from us. So what part y'all, how do y'all know? And then the thing is like, okay, it has to be, because it has to be a word of mouth. Where would they get this where they can't remember the names, at least, of God and Jesus? But it's the same thing. We gotta listen to the name. The J, I don't know where they get it from, because they never had J's. You know, Spanish people, they can't even pronounce J. They'll use the letter J and they'll say Have, right? And an H, like what would be a Spanish word in a J where they pronounce it with it like huevos or something, like Jose, like huevos or something like that, you know, it's J, but they're not even saying J, they're using H. So where did Jesus come from with the Spanish and the Greeks? In the Greeks, yes, Jesus will be the Zeus part, you know, but where would the E, and the E would be probably from them, but where would they get the J from? So, you know, it's very confusing, and they mixed it all together for that reason. But that's what I'm saying, the name scares me, because I don't think it's accurate names, but it's the right concepts, but they switching up the names for it could fit their group and make more sense for their group. Okay, so let me let this lady talk, because she does a way better job explaining it than I do.
This is all in a huge effort to hide the millennial kingdom from the people of our time. The more you learn about the true nature of our past, the more profoundly obvious it is that Jesus Christ is the ultimate truth, and it would definitely be a lot harder to go out and deceive the nations if we all understood we were riding off the coattails of Christ's kingdom.
Riding off the coattails of Christ's kingdom. Did you see all that infrastructure? What do you think all that infrastructure was? Did you just see all that stuff, those buildings? Did you just see all that? You see all that good stuff? You see all this? You see all this? All over America. No TPs. No TPs. Why they lie about that? Why they lying about the buildings and the infrastructure? And they're not really lying. They tell you that they did it. Look, they tell you that they did it. They told you that the slaves did it. They didn't say the Africans did it. They didn't say the Tartarians did it. Whoever the hell Tartarian is. They're like, oh, this is Tartaria. That's when the Asians came in 400s. In the 1400s. That's when it became Tartaria. When they came busting out back for vengeance. And then after 500, like they said, the countdown of somebody getting loose, the Lucifer guy or whatever, that 500 countdown was them acting like they was cool, and then did the flip a switch on us. That's where the 500s where the flip a switch happened. And within 300 years of that, that's when, by the 1800s, they have accomplished what they needed to accomplish between the 1500s to 1800s. The deed, the crisscrossing, and the information, everything was done. The reset was complete. They took the Enlightenment, they gave us some nasty Statue of Liberty, which is green. And I already showed you the color coding for green. Who is that? Have y'all guys been listening to me? Who's the green? What region is that? What region is the color code of green on the chart? You know? And then they gave us the green Statue of Liberty with a torch in her hand. For enlightenment. And they say the torch for Torah, which is very much probably so, because during the time of their Christmas time, they have the candles with the light, you know? So it's like, just add 12 more. You might as well give them the candlestick. So you see the incorporation of the green Asiatic, Orthodotic. Do you see who came here? Where am I going wrong? Am I bugging? Am I tripping? All right, so let me show you them then. Let me show you them. They even taped these guys. They didn't hide nothing. Did you see Don the other day that said, the truth is there. You just have to look. You just have to search. The truth is out there. And then he's all cracking. They always cracking up. Because the joke is always going to be on y'all if y'all don't care. If you don't care, you don't care. But guess what? You know, they benefit off of you not caring. They love the fact that they don't have to get up and do a goddamn thing. They don't have to get any education. They don't have to get no PhD. They don't have to do anything. They just have to be born blah, 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 to blah, 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 to blah, blah, blah. Like, we care. And y'all do care. Y'all be mad at me about these little videos I do about these celebrities and and stuff like that. And the celebrities ain't nothing but the same thing that the kingdoms and the sultans and the stuff are. It's just people that think that they have a way of skipping a line of, you know, getting a corporate job or a regular Fortune 500, whatever job you have, is still a binding contract to your life of 7 days, 24 hours out that day. You're contracting and binding and signing in, saying, and as you can see, I have the signature book. You're signing your name in blood to work 5 days out the week, and then are you going to do something after work? I doubt it. Are you really going to do something that weekend? Maybe if I muster up this energy and then try to kill myself on Monday, yeah, I'll go out and have a good time. You know, like, what kind of, y'all enjoying this? You enjoying the selling the water to the well back? You enjoying that? Joke's on you guys. It was free Friday. Okay? So you talk to y'all people. Who's from East Asia? Who's from over there? And I don't want to tell y'all to talk to them, because to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure that it gets way worse in those countries. I don't think they really could have any leverage to say, hey, don't do this, and they'll probably get, like, you know, thrown off a cliff right in front, you know, of everybody. Say, don't access this ever again. You know, so as you can see, this is why that happened. You know, or Asiatic people. Or Asiatic people, through whether it's Greek or something, or Indian, South Asian Indian, still Asiatic. It's still over there. We're still up in there. Even her, Asiatic. Right? So I don't want you guys to get confused about what's going on here. You know, when I just showed you this in grave sites and stuff. Okay? And I just showed you the Baphomet dependent in grave sites and stuff, you know? Just don't want you guys to get confused about these people. And I mean, like, come on. This man allegedly didn't have any children. Okay? Like, what is that? Y'all just let them do that. As I said, maybe the people are telling you, there's a lot of people that's down with it. So, you know, I'm just not that kind of person, though. Like, I'm not into, like, doing bad things or being like, oh, I need 10,000 cars, and then have people that can't even, like, have 3 meals a day. Like, I just don't think it makes any sense. No matter what movie or what music they do, I think they need to take it down a notch of giving them millions of dollars. I think, like, okay, that was a great song. Let's cap it at 100,000. You know, let's cap it, like, live a decent life. But do you need 10 million for this one song? It's an album. Y'all tweaking. I don't think that album was that great. Like, you know, or, I got 15 cars and 3 homes because they did a couple movies. They didn't even create the movie. They just acted in it. Like, they weren't even the brains behind the movie. So it's like, why are we giving them $10 million for a movie? Like, you know, so maybe they need to reevaluate this system and exactly on how they're distributing the money. You know, because this made up money, it could be distributed differently. They can make up whatever rules they want. Yeah, so I'm just going to try to wrap it up, because hopefully I can just get this all together betterly. But I'm going to wrap it up with this so you guys can understand what I'm trying to say. So if you look into the Smithsonian on Washington, D.C., where it explains all mankind and space and things like that, and they try to ask them, like, how did y'all build this? If y'all just got here and all those things, like, this was up since, they got here. How did you build this? And they're like, oh, well, we did it within a couple years, which is bullcrap, because it's obviously been here for a long time. It would look brand spanking new. It looks weathered. It look like it's been here for years. So it's like, all right, who built it? So they admit. They tell you right here. The iconic red stones used building the Smithsonian Castle. This is in Washington, D.C. They're not getting this stuff in. They got this all over America. You're not getting these kind of infrastructures nowhere else. So why do we care about Egypt? Like, no disrespect. Y'all pyramids is cute. The calculations is dope. But we got a whole lot of, like, just like how y'all was so amazed about the pyramids, like, these infrastructures is just as amazing as the pyramids. So let's be honest. It's way more way more detail, way more things, way more like. So why y'all making such a big like? Why are we all history has been about these pyramids? It's like once you see all of this infrastructure and all these electronic things, it's like that shouldn't have been here at the times that there was no electricity yet. But yet y'all have electric buses and trains and all type of the railing and the roads is all carved out perfectly. You got a whole bunch of infrastructure. Cities built to a T. This whole place was like super like this is something's going on, and we're not talking about going back to the Olmecs. They showed us like these ant mounds. And these are strategic ant mounds. I'm not mad at the ant mounds. But you're showing us ant mounds and we're showing you castles from stained red bone bricks that y'all sitting here telling us that slaves have made. You're telling it to us. You're saying that the slaves did it. And they're like, yeah, and? It's like, bro, not your end. It's not your end. That should be all in the history. And you're in America. And you're not even learning about all American structures. You're learning about Egypt over there. You know? Like, how weird is that? How weird is it? So with the Olmecas, right, where they are claiming to be the Mayans, and those people going towards the back of the Americas, when you look at Olmeca, just like how I did with Jesus, with the Zeus and stuff, when you look at Olmeca, it kind of derives from Mecca, which is Muslim, you know? So you got to think, is the Olmecs, you know, here they go. They trying to push it in that the Muslims are. You see how everyone is trying to say, I am, and it's all good. No one cares. But the thing is that no one could back it up. No one's giving you infrastructure in the area. Why build our area up and not yours? Why, you know, like none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because this whole history that they're leaving out is the staple of the history that they're giving us back with two truths and a lie. You know, they're giving us a bunch of truths and a lot of lies in it. So that's why we're so confused. They're not giving us the staple of where it, you know, so it can all fall into place. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing all this stuff in place on my own. And it falls right into it. Everything that is involved. And I can't go through all of this stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. You already saw I showed you a whole bunch and I'm not even nowhere near. Okay, so I did show y'all the tree, right? The tree of where the Nile was coming in. I just wanted to really quick show y'all where I am, me and my family are from. Where far as I could trace back. So if you go through where it's coming through here and it's going all the way up to West Virginia, you could stop right here. And my mom is from Patrick, small town of Patrick, South Carolina. And then if you continue on where the water and everything was going, I was born in Greensboro, North Carolina. This is where my mother went to school and where my mother and father met in the middle. He's from West Virginia, which is right on the water. Right directly on the water, West Virginia. Okay, not Virginia, West Virginia. Okay, it's a difference. Virginia is more off from the water key. This water source goes right in West Virginia. And then our family moved up to New York. Where mostly everybody migrated. Because this whole area is just full of, you know, those people. And as you can see with Maryland and the Virgin, Mary, Virgin, y'all already know where biblical times began. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious. You're not going to find that kind of connection with anyone else. Okay? You're not going to find that. So this is the root. This is the tree of life over here. And you can see why most of the information that I understand and stuff is because it's all like I'm all up in there and we want to know why no one talks about and give us any real directions because we're going to be little black girl lost until somebody tells us, you know. So and that's just the way they want it. You should also look into the Salem witch trials in the 1692. The Salem witch trials in Massachusetts, where they were hanging black. You would think these were white people. They were black African American people, not African. You know, I don't know who exactly these black people were. You know that it's two different kinds. But the Salem witch hunt was, I thought it was for white people and stuff. I look into it. They said it was 4 black ladies and their kid got hung. And you know the numbers is coded, so it's fake. Because, like, look, they said 30 people were found, 19 were whom was executed. So it's like 1930. That should. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Just look into those. All of these things connect. Though it goes from 400. It's clear as day how it connects. Just wanted you to see how they were trying to infiltrate. He's an Asiatic black man, but they try to give him the afro so he could seem like he's an American black man. That's what he's claiming in the Geechee and stuff like that. But I told you with the G's, with the geyser and the G's over there, the G men, the Q's and all that, that's not here. It's the J's. Okay, they changed the J's into G's. It's not us. So the Geechee is not. It's not us. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it's probably people intermixing type situations, but it's not directly what we're over here discussing, if you understand what I'm saying. So the afro is very important. The afro is depicting, if you look at it in the sun, if you look at an afro in the sun, now I'm going to show you a lady. I don't know this lady, and I just wanted to show you how when you look at the afros and it's picked out really nice, you know, it could kind of look like a halo. It could kind of look like a halo. And I want you to see all of them. All of them are together. All of them are together. All of them are together. Which I don't get. They all together. Look at that. Look. All cultures. Turkish. When I be like, oh, Turkish, Nigerian, Muslim, all that. All this. Moroccan. All of them. Indian. All of them. They're working together. Look at the incubators.
Context and still keep the music and the original comments and so forth instead of redoing the video altogether. So, first of all, the incubators. A lot of people have asked about the incubators. The incubators were first introduced at the World's Fair, and some people speculate that it was a way for people to take children and put them into situations like this, like public schools, and so forth, that they needed more bodies for this system. They needed more children for the system.
They needed more people to help pull off these scams that they're doing with the G Floyd F's. They need people to be in this, to do the real street. The street.
To train them for situations like that, they needed them to be indoctrinated. So there you go. That's the theory with the incubators. Is the incubators were a cover story to move children around. Not unlike what may or may not be happening today in other situations, but that would be a different video, obviously. So, like I said, I don't know everything about every picture, nor does a lot.
And mind you, this is in America. We have all this infrastructure. We have all this stuff.
Why are they wearing so many clothes? Important.
He's like, why they wearing clothes? He's like, why they wearing clothes at the beach? Now, mind you, before back in the days, if you didn't have a dock and the boat was coming to shore, but you didn't have a dock to land at, they'll let you out in water, you know, because it can't come to the shore. So he's saying, what are they standing around? Why are they standing around with their clothes on? But in all reality, it looked like they're coming from a boat. It looked like they're just coming with their clothes on. Like sometimes you had to get out and walk the rest. If you understand what I'm saying. That he's thinking they just chilling. No, it looked like they're coming from their boat. It looked like they're walking into the shore from the boat. Like you could literally could see they're not having a good time. You literally could see they're not having a good time. It looked like they're grabbing up bags and coming from their boat. Okay, that's probably the slaves that they were talking about when there's they were just shipping people and mixing everybody up so that the narrative could fit here. Period. That's all. It's gonna make a lot of sense when you look into all of this stuff. When you look into all of this stuff. Okay? Look at the skull and bones. Only why skull and bones are so important because your skull and bones stay here even after your whole, skull and bones is a part of the earth. So it could be here forever as long as it needs to be, possibly. It's fossil-like. So skull and bones is a reference to more like that instead of like, we're dangerous. Skull and bones is just a reference that skull and bones are here forever. Like they literally withstand time, And here we go from the 1800s. As you can see, they're doing Photoshop. So when they doing all this stuff with people in the same scenes and all that, I do not want to hear about it. Don't care. If I'm telling you they in the same scene, that's the same person. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if they could do Photoshop in like the 1600s, then I mean, come on, they making serious moves at this point. The Indian Act removal. Look into it. All that fake Pocahontas story and her real name was Makalata. Then it turns into like all those names is it sound Indian and African. You know what I'm saying? Like Pocahontas could have been a real girl, a real concept of a person. But it's not the way how they like I said with the Adam and Eve and the Osiris, these are not actual people. They are mythical stories of telling something that's happening at the time of people showing other people how to move on the land. Okay? Probably wasn't actually a person named Pocahontas. It probably was never nobody named Sakawana or something like that with the clock and the clock and whatever voyage. These people were not, they wasn't even their real names. They give you their, look, Sakawana, her real name was Lemi Shoshone, which sounds very Asiatic. Okay? Stop letting these people beat you in the head. Stop letting these people beat you in the head. They're giving you Asiatic mixed something. I don't know what the Indians were mixed with. But that's why they got the Indian Act removal. If you're from the land and you're native from the land, what laws you putting against these people talking about the removal act on them? Doesn't even make any sense. They're removing their own act. That's why they brought this act over here and then getting them out of here. Like, now we don't need you no more. They gave them. They ate off of it, though. They ate off of it. They get their college education for free in Canada and things of that nature. They have their residence or whatever. And people might think they don't live that great, but I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, they just got taken care of for putting on a show for something that ain't messing up the history line. So anyway, the removal act of Indians that are naturally here doesn't make any sense. So also they keep referencing Native Indians and Native Americans. If it is the same people, what would be the purpose of the two names? So usually they try to infiltrate both of them together sometimes, but it's obvious that Native Indians most likely are the Asiatic people that they are showing with the Chapanchi. The Chapanchi is the name derives from English, Europe. So we already know why would a Native Indian have an English something backtracked to their name? I mean, I can't make this up. Like if I look up a Native Indian name, the Chapanchi tribe, it should not defer back to any English or nothing, Russian or nothing like that. It should just be some native situations going on. It shouldn't be anything native to that country. It should be native to this country. So, it's a lot of infiltrating with those Indians and that the laws that they tried to intermix, because even if there was Native Indians and they were aware that it were Black Indians as well, Black people, why we don't have any information about the Black Indians and the Black, why is it all based off of this specific kind of Indian if it was all kinds of Indians over here? And that's where they're giving you the Native Indian, the Native American and Native Indian, because the Black Samoans, whatever, all these people that were here, they were probably native to America, and then they had the Indians that they brought over here, or that are obviously intermixed with Asiatic, whatever. But so it's Native Indian. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they were able to remove the act on them. And it wasn't like it was a bad removal. It seems like they had a deal and things like that. They all came with deals. All these people come with deals. Don't get confused. Okay, so I tried to hit as much points as I could. Let me just leave this where it says the earth children of America look like the soil in America. They carry the precious blood of America from the earth. All indigenous blooded people have the love and the power of life in earth. Within their blood, they are a part of life on earth. Everything else in their everything else in their location is a foreigner or a mutation of one. It is just as simple as that. I mean, it can't be more what they're trying to explain to you. Everything is foreign. She foreign. Like, look, I don't even like to do this. Like, I'm working on something, so once I get that established, this is never going to be on. Try not to ever put this on my head unless it's necessary. Everything is foreign. Like, you guys don't even understand how they're selling all that to us, and then majority is everything's made in China. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta see who y'all feeding. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think you want to feed them. They numbering people, children over there. You only have like 2 kids. They over there, it's a lot of restrictions and things going on. Now, the Southern people, there's a lot of discipline and stuff like that, but I think this is a whole different kind of discipline we're talking about. This is like, this is weird stuff. This is like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like really, I forget what they call it, like conquering, you know what I'm trying to say. You don't want that kind of, y'all done gave them enough power. Y'all done gave them all the power. And you get all the power. You got piece of crap, Asiatic people like this, and you think, oh, this is my kind of people. And they're over here selling you out, telling them, oh, they this, they that, they this and that. They don't belong. They ain't from here. We gonna identify them with other stuff. And all our lives we know we weren't. I have nothing against any African people, but when we're younger, if you see like in the movies, like with not South Central, I don't know. Anyway, when he was like in the classroom and the boy was like, oh, I'm not from Africa, and he was like, yeah, we all from Africa, and he was like, not me, you booty scratching, And so if you look at the difference between those, they always give you if you pay attention and you know what I'm talking about, you'll see that the one that was saying we're from Africa, Trey, the son, he was more probably Asiatic, Muslim, that culture, and then the other boy was from here, like, I don't care about that. No African bush got you now. I ain't from there. You know what I'm saying? So the point is that even a young kid know the difference. You understand what I'm saying? Even like a young kid know the difference. We wouldn't naturally do that unless it was for a reason. Like, you understand it's a definite difference. And it doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out the ethnicities, which is the region that you're born in. And that's what matters. Everybody could be born somewhere else with the same colors. But the ethnicity of where your region or where you're born in matters of the culture, So if you're from India and you're over here celebrating, eating a bunch of curry, you'll understand it's because I'm from India. I'm over here in America, but my ethnicity is from India and we like to eat curry and this and that. Or I'm from this, and I don't want to, because like I said, it could sound racist, and seriously not like that. I don't even care. I'm just explaining the world to you. Please have, understand that is definitely me just explaining that. Yeah, so, finally found. And they knew I was about to end this thing, but I wanted to show you guys that the person I was talking about through the whole video. I was talking about these Asiatic black people. This is the Olmecs. Now, I took a step back. I said, wow, if you guys can't tell me. Look at them. Look at this one. Look at that one. Look at them. Asiatic Africans. This is the dreadlock people that I'm talking about. Where they put in dreadlocks, like fake dreadlocks, like young Pharaoh and them. This is them showing homage to their Olmecs, their Olmec people. Now, is this even an African man? Why do I keep catching them in groups? They in everybody group. They in a group with the Africans. They in the group with the off the dog juice that came over here. Watch, I'm gonna show you too. I'm gonna show you some of them too. Look, I want to show. I was looking for that clip through the whole hour and change up in here. That's how unorganized I am. It's very important now that I am organized. When I do my little flip, I think y'all would rather me flip like this than to be trying to search. Like, this is impossible. I need to have it organized. I will never do this again. I just was sitting here for an hour babbling, like I'm from over there. You know, they come over here and learn some English. I don't know what kind of English they was talking about over here, but I'm pretty sure them Mary, them Johns, them Josephs, and them James, that's us. You know that's our names. I don't know too many white people with those names. I know they names come, they be like Skaboski and this and that. Like, it be mad different wild names, people from other countries. So I be looking like, where did they get the English names from? It's not dominant over there. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys before I went, when they came over here with the orthodontics, I kept finding the Asian guy. I'm like, where's the Asian guy I keep coming from? But the thing is that they are the ones that's lineaging all these races, you know? I really just wanted to find that video. They did have a clip of this guy. He was somewhere where he took it and wanted to like, you could see the fence in the ground. Like, you see the dog jumping over the fence. It's like literally a crib under the ground. Like, you can see this is where the house and the bricks start, and then this is the ledge. So you gotta really watch though, because people not playing. They outside discovering stuff. Whole building complete buried. Okay? Brick. America. Bricklayers. Carpenters. Farmers. America. There's nowhere else. If they're doing it other places, we were really good at it over here. That's all we know. That they were really good at it over here. Y'all might have been doing it over there, but y'all weren't doing it at the levels they were doing it over here. That's why they said the enlightenment stage. And I have it in here when their enlightenment happened. It was like in 16 or 18 something. They didn't have no enlightenment. It was dark ages until we let it be light over there. Okay? And that's what I'm saying. It's all on the backs of slaves. And who was the slaves in America? They barely gave us any Africans. They didn't need to. We were already it was already people like us over here. They put them in other places because it wasn't as many population there. It was enough population of us over here. So they just intermixed us a little bit. And think of the movie Roots. They traced the family lineage of the African father only. But what about the mother? It seemed like the mother was not from Africa. When he came over here, she was like, oh, here come them Africans. And then she was like, oh, you mean Africa? If she was from Africa, her family was from Africa originally, prior to what they are trying to say, that at some point black people started to Americanize, which is the stupidest thing I ever heard, because if they're from America and they were stolen and this and that, why would they treat other Africans coming over like, oh, you're mean this, and we can't even conversate. We can't, you got to learn English. Like, where would their leniency from being from Africa? It wasn't even that long ago. You weren't going from Africa for that long. If your moms or your father probably got here, like, you know what I'm saying? At that time frame, it wasn't like hundreds, you know what I'm saying, where they could not identify with these Africans. Like, they came over there, and they're like, oh, these Africans, da-da-da, and black people's acting like, you know, certain people, they're acting like, oh, well, they've been there for a minute, they've been Americanized. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make it to now disrespect Africans that are coming over because we learned broken English or whatever they call it, ghetto English or whatever what they were speaking. So it just doesn't make any sense. It's obvious that they brought some Africans over here to intermix with us. So us would not be us, it would be them. Gotta go. Ooh, just want to say this real quick. Every TV show we watch is just a replica of what I am explaining to you of the Asiatic African taking over. Let's get to it. With Lisa Turtle. Turtle Island is America, right? It's shaped like a turtle with the tail at the end. So Turtle Island, America, is the black girl of the group. And she's throwing up the 3-6. Okay? So then now we got, and I'm gonna start in America. We're gonna start with the two main characters, which is the Moors and the Murs, the Africans and the whatever you want to call us, the two black people that can't get along. Okay. Now, so we done did Lisa Turtle, America, right? Now here we go. Zach Morris. Okay, Zach Morris. Mixed with Zach, Z, Zeta, Beta, Greek, and Morris, Moors, Moorish, the African, Muslimic, Zach Morris, okay? Now, mind you, Zach Morris had an episode where he said he's from born bred California, and he found out he had lineages through Native American, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So they even was trying to tell you that this white American guy is an establishment from the Zach, the whatever, Moors. You see what I'm saying? Are y'all getting it? You see where they going with this? Kelly Kapowski, Italian, the darker, the French, Paris, the darker white people, cream, French vanilla, okay? Then we got A.C. Slater. Who you think is A.C. Slater representing? Who you think A.C. Slater is representing? Remember they had her with a deal trying to go to Paris for a photo shoot? Lisa Turtle mother is a nurse, doctor. The doctors and the nurses and stuff that were from America, and they say, oh, the KKK is you don't want to see your doctors and lawyers. That used to be the black people in America. We used to be the ones that did the doctorate, the lawyer. You know, we have the law, the Constitution. These buildings is ours. There was law here. The Lisa Turtle, she represents that. The law, the doctor, you okay? Zach Moore was just a cool, laid back dude that was from everybody wanted him. I don't know with Zach. Zach was just a cool guy. Kelly Kapowski, she had an opportunity to go to Paris to do, so she's the Italian French girl. A.C. Slater is the Asian. Father was in the military background. Remember, he came from the military out of nowhere. A.C. Slater, you would thought he was Mexican Spanish, so it's like an Asian Mexican situation going on. Then we have Jesse Spano, which is the Spaniards, and probably I don't know what else, So you see how literally everything they give you is always a regurgitation of this whole system of the world, da 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 da. So that's why when I tell you with the music and with these scripts and stuff that they're doing is always because they want the world to go that way. So they're infiltrating, they're propagandering. Also with like the music. All the music is it's electric boogie oh I want the sun, like it's always the same concepts of like the word, so that's how you know it's not their music, because who wants to talk about biblical references and certain aspects that got to be in their music has to, and I'm talking about like top A-list music, it has to be, so somebody's writing it for, it's a writer behind these things, everything that they do, the same guy with the mama's cooking, it's a writer behind these things. Stop listening to these people that has writers, because these writers are still writing and pointing you to the same narrative, even if they come to you with some two truths and a lie. So that's all I have today. It looks like I only got like a couple people left out of the couple of people that I had is like half of that. So I know y'all probably like, girl, I'm tired. But just know that when the next reset comes, 9 times out of 10, they hiding in here. And then they popping back out to clean up. And I got a picture of all that where it's like so many bones. This was like in India, where it was so many bones. And that's why it's like I don't have a beef with nobody, because they doing this to their people. They're doing it to us. It's a 1% that cares about themselves. They don't want to work. They want you to make their Starbucks. They want you to, and they want to just jump on HG5s and call it a day. And they could care less of the families they rip apart, the hardship on people's mental health, and things like that, of this hustle and bustle of life that's not necessary, supposed to be nice and simple and enjoyable so it can last longer than what it seems. Instead, it seems very rushy, okay? And that's what I'm advocating against. And that's what a lot of people are advocating against. That it's just like, we had enough. The dream and the illusion of you trying to sell us all this stuff that we don't even need or want, it should be over with at this point. I mean, who cares about any of that stuff? You want to keep wearing foreign labels and then foreign this and foreign that? Why don't you foreign your ass over there? And I'm talking about anybody. Me, colored people, not my colored people. I don't care. You like foreign, go your foreign ass over there. My colored people, your colored people. All y'all that like this stuff, go over there. Where it originated from. You know, that they're practicing over there. And not all people, they're rulers. Okay? If you like what their rulers are doing, rule over there where y'all was at before. And let us live very simple, harvesting lives where we work together and we share. Okay? We're not worried about having a whole lot more and then letting you know we have a whole lot more. You know? And that's it. And you have nothing. And look, maybe because you didn't get up as early as me. It's bull crap. Don't let people tell you that stuff. The narrative is not true. They say white people have more advantage. For what? They give them a bunch of credit and a lot of things, and then sometimes they Tetris and it's like a way. Because look, if the white people are not the dominant people from this country, they owe them nothing for the land. They owe them nothing. So they have no leverage to gamble with. So, you know, they'll give them a bunch of credit, this and that, you know, and then they'll put them in a debt that way. They're not going to put them in a debt to the land because they don't own the land. But they'll put them in a debt. They'll put them in some type of debt. They'll have good jobs and they'll have accumulation of things that they have to keep applying. And those loans and those remortgages and those more, like, you understand, they put these people to death. Like, anyway, so stop bartering the white people. They might get a lot of opportunities, but it's a trick on them too. You know, it's that Ponzi scheme with the stock market. A lot of people at the top make it, but there's a lot of people that don't get into that 25%. And then the rest of you people are paying that 25%. You know, that's stalking those bitcoins and things like that. The people at the bottom don't eat, only people at the top. That's what the Ponzi scheme is all about. That's what the pyramid and all that is about. And the pyramid eye, the bird's eye view, is just a replica of the center of them calculating space. And as I told you with space is not going up; it's heading east, north, south, and west, 360 wise. So they're calculating space going outwards. So if they say, oh, we're looking into space, they may be talking about going out to Antarctica. We're in space over there. They're calculating space on a 360 plane of going north, south, and west. Not up in the sky. Just a 360 going around. They're calculating space and they're venturing out and exploring space. You know, y'all don't let this go over your head, okay? Yeah, and you know they're not calculating space because they just admitted to you guys they never went on the outer layers of space. The inner layers of space is all they have been around. They never came out that when you see them things and that shit sparks off, they don't go outside. And they say it's diamond, but it could be crystal as well. You gotta think of the Superman concept. Think of all those movies. Think of all these songs. Everything that we see on TV is giving you a lot of information, just like I went over the Jesse Spano and the Lisa Turtles. It's history. They're selling us history. It's our stuff. We enjoy it, whatever. They switch it up and they're evolving because they know the direction they want to go, and they're following a book. They're following, you know. And I'm going to try to advise you guys of the timeline so y'all can see exactly what I mean by being in Generation X and them calling us the new millenniums. And that kind of like it could be like the Millennium Kingdom to like now the Generation X millenniums of the timelines and how they're doing the cycles of 600 years. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to configure all this out more organized so it can make more sense. This stuff is so organized, it probably, not saying it probably makes sense, but I'm trying to explain to y'all about the charts. And if you could go to that channel with the useful charts, he does a great job of explaining how those countries and regions and ethnicities were mixing and creating the whiter or the creamier or they explain that stuff. And they also explain how, a lot of things. Anyway, I'll try to get it more organized. As I stated, like with the orange is the Indians, the Muslims. The purple is Voyu, which is always found in America. So obviously, the chart of the world it follows the chart of the Shirakas. So purple, the red being at the bottom, which is Africa over there, and then purple being the top of the reign of the crown, which is in America. And then you have the green and the yellows and all that intermix in between the two. And both purple and red is representing the African and obviously, but they don't want to give it to us, okay? They're giving us all that purple in America, but they won't tell us who these people are. But we know who the red people are, the orange people are, the green, the light blue, the French, the Greeks, the dark blue to the light blue. We know all of those regions. So, you know, anyway, so if you look into the color coding of the atmosphere of the world, the Asians, the Greeks, the French, the African and British, the Muslims, the Indians and things like that, all this, the colored people, and then you only got purple in America. So that's all I got for you guys. And like I said with Babylon, that's dumb. They was babbling, then they came over here and found out about English and the mathematics and the sacred geometry and all that mathematics and all that good stuff. As I stated, I wanted to show you guys the lady with the hair, the afro. It could in the sun, that could look like a halo. Okay. As they stated, the people that's from this area, you know, is the kind of people that's from the earth, the soil, the this, the that. They are connected. The love, the peace. So anything foreign from that would be the duality of the opposite of. So that's what we over here fighting. We're fighting people that want to be peaceful, carpenters, farmers, nice people. And then we also have we have the people that are doing the total opposite of that. You know? Yeah, that's all I had. I was trying to find that video, you know, what's still keeping me here is I was trying to find a video of and as you can see, look at the Irish person. Look at the Irish person with the Turkish hat, with the green Asian outfit. You know, the leprechaun, the Irish. Red, green, and purple is a mixture of all of that. Asiatic, African. That's where you get the Irish, the red. Okay, just like with daylight. It's homage to the Aboriginal people. You think he's being funny trying to be a white person when he's just looking like the Aboriginal people. He's paying homage to his people from the Honduras, the Colombia, the back skirts of the. So we know what's up. We know what's going on, and they know how they pay their homage and they do their thing. They just not going to admit of the. And just like what I showed you with the king conscious, with the gorilla, that's their concept saying evolution came from gorillas. It's not accurate. I mean, we're not from nowhere near no gorilla. No gorilla ever changed to a human yet. Okay? Have a brain. Have a brain. You would think a couple of humans would be popping out the woods here and there like, oh, I was a gorilla 2 years ago and my mom's a gorilla and then I just came out human Tarzan in it. And here we go with Tarzan. Tari. Do you get what that comes from? Let's say it together. Asiatic something. Who knows what Tars or whatever he's mixed with is with Asian. That's the Tarsias. So yeah, they think we Tarzan out here. No, we're not from no gorillas. No, stop it. The Stargates. Those are portals, just like Mario Brothers when you go on the star level and it port you up, port you down. It's not giving them it's not porting them to a different time frame. It's just a place like a fast train. They just got portals where they have trains going straight through the ocean, going straight to France, straight to da. This is the ports. This is the land ports. You know what I'm saying? That's what these Stargates stand for. These Stargates is a landmark letting them know that these are the portations for them to get over. And I've seen as videos of showing you these portation trains. These things are it's footage of it. This is not speculation. This is real facts. They have big trains that just go through a chute. So also this is like the as above, so below. And then what they may say is Antarctica, possibly where they are keeping and hiding all the technology, which is the controlled. And you guys can't see it. I don't know. which is the control substance that's probably working its way, infiltrating on us. And as you can see where they split the hemisphere, they have one man on one and a woman on another. And I'm going to have to get in that subject another day on how the African mitochondrial woman could have reproduced with the actual black man from this to start in. And I will have to explain that in some type of format. It ain't going to be today because it's very long. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't find the Asian guy that was in the 1850s, but trust and believe. Just like this guy was explaining Tartaria here. He had like an explanation explaining the Tartaria's time frame.
Here is Russia, and that's it. More like the rest of the world, which is narrow, straight.
Just to let you know that, yeah, because it's Chinese. And then, so we're not from Tartaria. We're not Tartarians because that is 100% Chinese Asian stuff. They just wanted to put it over here. They keep pushing. They're doing whatever they can. You know what I'm saying? And then you see where the Africans and stuff are at. They're helping them with these fake stories saying we're gorillas. They're helping them. That gorilla gain and that move with the gorilla. Look, I can't keep putting all these things together. Like at the end of the day, I can't. Like Shaka Zulu, the Zulu Nation, Asiatic. Got them Z's in it. The Z's, the Y's, the Yakuba, the you know. Okay. I swear, I really wanted to find. Yeah, and as I stated with the Shirakas, as you can see, they did it upside down here. Because they like to do things backwards. Or the rainbow, it only represents the color coding of the ethnicities in the world. And the rainbow, it represents for everybody to hook up. So no one can't claim no land or something like that, you know? Ain't no much land claiming no more when everybody's a melting pot. Okay? Yeah, that's all I have exhausted at this point, and I really can't find nothing I'm looking for. Okay? I just wanted to show you that Asian guy, but I just can't find it. Because I was just like, why is he here? It's 1800. Where is he coming from? You know? And it should have been right here, but it's not this video either. Like, he was feeding the birds and everything. I'm like, what is going on? Oh. Yeah, that's not it. And then also I wanted to show you about the bushes being burned. I mean, like you saw in California where the fires were on the houses and the bushes weren't being affected. So during the Great Reset, on a lot of these footages that they have, the same situation. They had a lot of infrastructures that were burnt to a crisp that didn't make no sense because these infrastructures weren't even burned down well. Like, looked like they were blowing them up or something because it was really great infrastructures. It was hard to burn, you know, tumble down. But yet all the shrubbery, all these homes, the buildings back to back was burnt down, and then all the shrubbery and the trees were perfectly fine. The same thing that they were showing from in California recently with all the fires, where it was directly in the homes, and a lot of the shrubbery around the homes were not getting burnt, which didn't make no sense. And they literally have the same kind of situation going on, and I have the footage, and I have to look for it. So we see that they have this technology of burning Pacific houses down and not affecting the shrubbery because they need the shrubbery. You know, they probably just don't need the buildings and don't want to affect the shrubbery because it brings air and things like that. So you got to understand that they had this all the way from the 1800s. Like, what? Just tell us what's going on. Y'all acting like y'all didn't even have electricity or lights, and y'all had a lot more than what we have today. So you dumbed us down and you cheapened us out. For what? Like, you know? So anyway, and it's maybe because they can't they can't recreate or probably do anything better than what they already had. I don't get it. Because if you got the information, what's the point of dumbing us down and taking it back, scaling? And maybe it's a way to not lose the power. I don't know. But it's a lot of questions that everybody should have. Not a race. Everyone should have a question of, listen, what are y'all hiding? And what should the people of the world have access to that you snatching up? Like, you know, who told these people to do that? Like, I don't know. But you see what the whole concept was, right? That, you know, the Asian persuasions. Y'all are in trouble. We are in trouble. And I really don't know if we are in trouble or not. I just know that that's just what's going on. And it's obvious what's going on. Oh my God, this stuff is not even working no more. Like, I'm clicking into things and it's not clicking. It's like, girl, you've been here for that long. Go home. All I wanted to do was show you this Asiatic thing, and I'll be satisfied. I'll be satisfied. I just literally can't do it. Yeah, like literally all is hidden in plain sight. And ooh, the telephones and all that, the with the phallus and the 12 tribes, and we being the 13th one that they found with the 13th constitution and all the phallic things that they have, because the phallus is the 13th piece of Osiris, which is the PP. Because I'm gonna have to advise y'all on how all that works and ties us in together with America being the 13th colony to their 12 tribes. I'm gonna have to advise y'all of all of that information. Just not today. Not today. I just wanted to see the ages real quick. Did I show y'all the Tartarian? I mean, not Tartarian. Jesus Christ. This is not cool. Like, I don't know where nothing is, and it seems like I'm going over the same stuff. And I really wanted to show... Yeah, well, let me show y'all the Antarctica. Like, they literally show us them coming in. They did mad stuff, and then all they want to do is show us this. He showed us mad stuff and was like, oh, look at the chimney, look at this and that. But they won't show us nothing but the door. They won't show us nothing but the door. Look at the ozone layer. Did I tell you that's where that is at? In that area? That's the egg. That's where they came in at or came out at. That no one can't go back in. No one. I don't know. Maybe they need to send one of us out there since we the original. We could go through the black hole. That's the space that y'all think they going in. That they not going in. That's that black hole that they say whatever goes in there never comes back out. That's the space y'all think they in. They're not in that space. They in the outer layers of this atmosphere. And they don't go out of it. You know. And if you head east and then go there. I don't know what that leads to, but I don't think they want to go through there, and I don't think no one comes back. Like, and I don't know if it goes to a different dimension. Who knows? It probably goes down the toilet bowl if this stuff works like a toilet, you know? But I don't know. I'm not gonna find the Asian guy today. That's all I have. I hope you guys learned something. If not, it's all good. I didn't even get to my theory of how all this connects. I'm going to have to organize and probably do parts. But the thing is, with history, if you don't do it like in a whole overall look, you kind of won't get it. It gets so confusing. And that's why people don't really understand, because it's like you got to do it in parts and it makes it bad. You kind of got to sit there for like 8 or 10 hours and put it all together, because it's like literally like a puzzle, like them puzzles that you be like, oh, find this piece and now put it and it don't fit. And it's literally one of those puzzles where it's like 1,000 pieces. And they did it on purpose. It didn't have to be this way, but the way how they did it is why it's 1,000 pieces. It's all over. It's like it's so all over the place. And they took the 1,000-piece puzzle and said like this. And it's like, oh my God, and now we're like not even halfway through putting it back together. And there's people like me that ain't playing. They want people back. It's that guy that's like the Tanqueray guy, like Tanqueray Reviews, where he's been following the Nipsey case. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, these people who deserve way more bigger platforms. Like, you guys are watching the stupidest, and I don't think people are really watching them, because I'm telling you, I watched the Amina show and whatever, not to be rude, but she literally had like 600 or probably, I don't even know if it was 1,000 in the chat, and I'm like, okay, it's all good, right? And then when that show was over, I went back to the page, because she came back on like 2 hours later or something, right? She had like 14,000 views on the last one that had like 1,000 people in the chat. So I said, that's weird. Within 2 or 3 hours, 14,000 people came through. So I was just like, okay, that was weird, right? So now I'm like, okay, now this is the new show with the 3-hour difference. It's only like not even half of those people in the chat from the last show. It's like 500 from 1,000. So I'm like, okay, well, I said, now that I peeped that, I said, let me see when this show is over. Like, I like to compare and do stuff. This is what I do for a living. Anyway, so, because I don't like people scamming me. I ain't got like a lot of scams, and I be on people like, give my money back and stuff. Like, anyway, so, yeah, I looked at the video, and when she was done, literally, I went off the channel and came back just to see what the view said. The view said 7,000. I'm like, where did the 7,000 come from? So don't, she like, oh, 10,000, 2,000 in the chat. And then after she get off, it'd be 10,000 views. I'm confused. Can somebody explain that to me in YouTube terms on how that works? Because I have pictures and footage of it. You know I'm not going to say something without backing it up because people swear you playing with them. Okay? So, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're back. And I'm still here. Oh, that's the guy that, and shout out to Spawn in the 2020s. Very cute video you did of me. I'm glad that you like my channel. And I literally don't care about the amount of people when you have people like you and other people that are understanding and getting that something ain't right. You don't even have to agree 100% with me. But you do have to understand that these people know something's not right. There's a lot of questions that are being asked that people are saying don't ask no questions and mind your business and stuff like that. So I just want to give a shout out to all the YouTube troopers and people like him and other people that are just knowing that something's not right and they're just pushing it out there, because I think that at our ages of, and I believe said he was 20 and I'm like in my 30s, and it's like I believe that it seems like it's not cool for people us young to be talking about things like this. Like they got the older groups, and yes, she has her 600,000 people in the chat because a lot of older people care about the educations and the things like that. But at this time, it's too late for them. It's the people, it's the younger people that they are on programming that matters, and that's why they're not letting you get their attention. So I'm just happy that it is younger people that's understanding, because those are the people that's going to change something. It ain't going to be us older people or the people older than me. We just going to sit and talk about stuff. The people that's out there getting to it ain't even on this YouTube. You know, most of them are young and they outside, and the ones that are on YouTube, super shout out to y'all. Y'all are ahead of the game, you know. Because at that age, I wasn't even thinking about being smart at all. I was 100% into that Asian African, Pan-African, King conscious lifestyle. When we realize that's not even us, and when you get older, you get wiser, you realize who you are. So the younger people that's already ahead of the game, y'all lit. And a lot of young people are ahead of the game because the technology is very forthtelling, and they're trying to fix that now. They're trying to fix the Facebooks and all that. Like, yo, these people, it's like the gift of the curse for them. We getting stuff out, but then they putting stuff out, and that's why you got the Kwamis in them, because the YouTubers like us, it's like, oh, well, now we need the Kwamis in them to come through to say stuff like what I'm saying, but then give you this. I'm telling him to give you what he said. It was a lie. I'm like, ooh, y'all listening to this guy? He's over here with the red behind him and that globe world that they give you, the globe world, even though we're not living in a cylinder. They're just giving you a view of the 360 circular situation that we could be in, if that makes any sense, of how you can get somewhere. So don't think straight, think circular, like you could circle around here. Don't think we just gotta go straight. That's all the 3D structure is for. But they're pushing narratives and you guys are following them. Hope you guys wake up and realize none of them are good. Stop saying, oh, Kwame's here, or this person's here, and they're telling the truth. The two truths and a lie. That's what they're telling you. They are playing the good cop role. They have both. They make sure that they have everything covered for you guys. So stop trusting any. Talk to the people you know. Talk to the people next to you. Listen to the music of the people you know is producing and not putting none of that. What do they call it when you get it mastered? Not putting on that mastered ritual. And then like with Young Pharaoh, like in my bucket, he did a whole ritual video. But we'll sit there and talk about Hillary and them. It sounded very while doing so, if I might add. Because they the mamas, and I'm gonna explain all that, what the mamas cooking on that, mama that ISIS and all, I'm gonna explain all that. They disrespect the father. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want to respect the father. So, I have to go, I really would like to stay, but I'm exhausted. I had to work today. I was trying to do this on the weekend. It's the best time that I have, like free time, but I just didn't. Like I said, it was so unorganized. If I had tried to organize it, I'd have been here for another 2 weeks. And I was working on a Kanika video, and that's taken over my whole life. So, because the Kanika video is worse than the whole American story. I said, yo, they really weird with that, the mother being an East Star Mason. Trayvon father being an East Star Mason. Well, you gotta get these people out of here if they scams and they money laundering in the paper in the fundies. Everybody I know that died didn't get a GoFundMe. They didn't get none of the Al Sharptons. They didn't get none of that. So why the real people not experiencing the stuff we're seeing on TV, and we can't even identify who these people are on TV, and they're always connected to some Mason, Catholic, blah, 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 Zeta, Data, like, and there's so many of us. It ain't even that many of them. It's a lot. It seems like it's a lot, but it was way more of us. And that's why I gotta start seeing beyond color and start linking with what's right, the people that's trying to just chill, and we ain't trying to start no trouble. And the people that's all wild is like, oh, I like being wild and I like being dangerous. Like, okay, you fell for it. Good luck over there. We need to separate. We cannot live with evil. Like, I don't suggest it. I don't suggest to figure out a way to live with them. You know, and anyway, you know, just stay safe out here, because they are taking people out all different kind of ways. And the people that are a part of it, they know that they don't have no worries. So you do your due diligence. Don't listen to these people saying, oh, do this, don't worry about it, because those people could be a part of something, and they're influencing you to do something, and they look like you. I don't care what color this is. It could be yellow, this, that. They look like you. They tell you to do something. It'd be sometimes not, you shouldn't be listening to them, that they're here under spy, you know, like Sort, you know, the Russian, when she came over here as an American, all in it, you know, they do that. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe this video. And if anything you do, make sure that you are enjoying the rest of your night. Okay? Okay. And I do want to plug my signature book. It is a lifestyle brand. It's not really a clothing brand. I just feel like instead of me wearing any name brands, I influence people to start having their own brands. Start doing their own thing. You know, you don't have to wear the signature book. I wear the signature book because I feel like I'm not wearing other people's stuff. I care less about them. Like, if you feel like that's identifying you, then you're weird. I identify what I want to identify with, and I'm not going to ever identify, especially with foreign things. If you're in America, it's just stupid. I think American things should be more expensive than foreign things if you're all up over here. But anyway, the signature book is literally about the same concepts that we're talking about. If you're into your family lineages and your family trees, I advise you to keep your own history. Who cares about Aten phenotype and or the Charles and the James Sir the third? Like, if you don't, like, why do we have to listen about their family tree when we have our own information, and it'll be way more important to you in your family, of your information, your family tree, and how you're important, than it is about them learning anything about anybody in history. So yeah, it comes in all colors. This is an old weathered one. This is also old and weathered. But this one is more filled out. It's just like a record. We just want you to have a record of yourself. This is more signature book yourself, so you'll be starting off with yourself and going up. If you want to go down and have children, I advise you to make more copies of this that do your mother's side and your father's side, and you start in the middle. Keep your information. Your children can have this. This is all that'd be left for you. This would be something great to leave behind. It actually gives you 21 questions, so just in case if you have no idea what to write in here about yourself in your life, it kind of starts you off by saying, hey, what was your best memory? What was your relationship with your mother? What was the relationship with your father? So this is like a history type situation that we're trying to have for you. Don't worry about George Washington and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it does also come in different backgrounds. Don't mind these people. This is Mel Jackson. Took a picture of him. These people at some point. Probably give you a story about that one day. Still not giving y'all my personal stories as of yet. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to put it up here or Patreon. I'm really not tech savvy, so I'm trying to still figure out how to stream better than what I'm doing, besides even making a Patreon. But anyway, and also, yeah, I have Tupac because I was a big Tupac fan, but I should take this out. This is also interchangeable. So say if you have an issue with your boyfriend and he is a jerkhead, you know, I could just change it up and say, hey, you know, this is my book. You know, I don't have nobody. I have it interchangeable because life changes, you know. You be thinking you with somebody forever, And then within 24 hours, you know, it'll be another situation. So that's all I have for you guys. I've enjoyed the whole 2 hours. Okay? Put some respect on my name for sitting here for 2 hours with 20 people or so still left with me. I enjoyed all of y'all. Let me see if I have any comments. I really don't know how to use the comments. It's not really showing. I see like 1 or 2, but I'm not really seeing like all the comments. I have a couple comments. I'm sorry I didn't see all of that. Yeah, history has definitely been destroyed. Let's see who else. Oh, Brazil. I would have to speak about Brazil, but unfortunately, they're not really the top contenders like how they talk about the Olmecs and with the Africans. But Brazil, I do see that they may be possibly somewhat of like the Olmec type situation, like it's somewhat of the similar backgrounds. But I was looking into Brazil, and I really didn't really see a big like connection of them being into the big contenders of who, like the African, the Asiatic, and the British. But I will look into it because they are definitely connected. I think they're more with the Spaniards and the Spaniard lineage, and yeah, it's definitely connected. All this stuff is connected. Everything that's outskirts is definitely connected. Okay, thank you so much. Really? Yeah, like the racism is real. I feel bad for the light skin. Like a lot of my family is light skin, and most of them, it seems like they tend to identify more with the Spanish people, the lighter skinned family members of mine. And I'm just like it's sad because for some reason they're black, but they have to interlude with the Spanish and other cultures because of maybe the people like my color darker. Now I'm talking about like literally my brother and sister, like literally my lineage. We're all different colors in my family. So I have done where I'm chilling with black people, but my brother and them, they chilling with Spanish people because it's just the way it is. I don't know why. Don't ask me. And then my mother, she always gets that she's Spanish, but she's not Spanish at all. And I would like to show people the pictures of my family members because then I could show you what the copper man actually looks like, because that's literally what my father is. He is like literally like my, he has nothing but he's like his color, everything is copper. His hair was copper. And then my brother came out with blonde hair, blue eyes. So it's just like a lot. Anyway, that stuff doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, and make sure you guys follow Brandon Go Crazy 222. Shout out to you. He is another person that goes hard and understands the job. He knows the job, okay? We out here trying to really help you understand that these people ain't nobody to play with, and they not all here playing with us. And y'all the only ones thinking that they cool and entertaining, and there's nothing entertaining about what they're doing. Once you wake up and you see some of this stuff, like the color coders and how it all works and you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it, and it starts to become annoying. I don't even watch TV. I can't watch even TV no more. I pop in and see some things, and I pop right out. I'll be on YouTube more than anything because it's more real people on here, and we usually are on regular TV to get the real reality. The real reality is on YouTube. And just be careful on who you watch, because a lot of these people are now they just popping people up. You see, they just popping people up. That's how serious the movement of YouTube is starting. Like you could tell there's starting to be a little bit of movement of people really looking for truth, and nobody's watching the television no more. They over here looking for truth, and that's why they're trying to shut these sites down, because they realize they're starting to work against them now. Absolutely, they definitely are trying to stop us from doing a lot of things. Yeah, anybody wants to repost any of my videos, you can definitely do so. As you can see, most of my stuff that I do, I look for footage to back up my ideologies, because I know I'm not the only one that thinks this way. And you'll be surprised that it's a lot of intellectual PhD lectures on the same information. And I was thinking, I'm like, I knew it was a bucket. And then y'all got actual lectures on this. Why nobody knows about none of this stuff? And then like Don Lennon said, the truth is there. You just got to look for it. You just got to research for it. So it's like they laughing at y'all like, yo, all the information that y'all talking about is there. We ain't lie to y'all. Y'all just didn't care. Y'all didn't look into it. Yeah, we got a lot of fake stories out there, but you should have been able to see it. That they're trying to tell you that they're giving y'all all the information to put stuff together. It's up to you to put it together. You know, it's not up to them to put it together for you. But they know that they throw the information out there, and that's why they do things in plain sight. I think they have to tell us about what's going on and what they're doing, and, you know, whatever. Like it's like some type of legal stipulation. You see all these people coming out the woodworks with the Biggie and because they know about that Tupac and Biggie stuff. They trying to get us off that. They see what it is. Now all of a sudden they found their killers. We should have been saw that they was alive so they could have found their killers. Now they found them because we found them, so they found their killers. But anyway, also with Charlemagne and all this stuff, and of course the Charlemagne wife it has the same name as the accused. Same thing with the Gorilla Glue girl thing. You know, like what is wrong with them? And the girl that got raped for Charlemagne was like, yeah, I heard I look like the wife and she has my name. He's sick. Like, what you took, girl? Like, yo, this is stupid. Y'all gotta stop. I think they already know they getting canceled and they just being obvious on purpose. Like, how long are y'all gonna let us do this? And like, it's literally over. You know what I'm saying? But like, come on, Charlemagne's wife, same name, look like the girl. Bye, y'all. Y'all can stay asleep. And if y'all that sleep, we're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble, man. I might as well put on my hat, my turkey hat, that fizz hat, and get down with the winning team, man. And with my Asiatic African and my fizz Turkish hat, and say peace to you guys in America. Y'all not gonna ever get back in track. Y'all never gonna. But anyway, yeah, so if y'all can't see all this crazy stuff that's going on, and only reason why they're giving you this information, because as I learned in my class with the liberal arts, they be signing NBAs. They be signing contract. Everything is contracted. Everything is contracted. That's why they're getting people out of here now. Excuse me. I've been talking forever and I'm dying of thirst. Yeah, that's why they're leaving out now. It's not because they're like not. It's like because the power. I think they changed the powers from like African to Asian to French, like this for like 400. I think they switch up the powers in the parliament, and they all crabs in the barrel on each other. They be trying to off each other to take reign. But yeah, they signed the NBAs, and so within 30 or some odd years, they can't say nothing about nothing. And then after the 30 or some odd years is up, which is around the Biggie time, it's almost hitting 30s, like 20-something years, that the NBA is probably up, where now they could talk. We don't care. If you were so worried about getting sued or going to jail or whatever they had you in that contract, where you couldn't say word, don't talk now. We don't want to know about it now. Like, oh, now I could talk, and I'm going to tell you like I care. You don't care, because you didn't want to go to jail or nothing to tell us when it mattered. And they know nothing matters after 20, 30 years. That group has grown up, and they're tired. So they telling people now they found Biggie. The young group don't care. They don't even know Biggie. You know, they know something. They know some stuff. But they be looking like who? The Big Frosty? The Wendy's? No, we're talking about a rapper. So the thing is, they give out this new information. I mean, they're giving out this information now because the NBAs are up. The contracts that them signing, making them go, is up. And if they don't wait for that, then they could get sued. They probably get everything taken. It's a lot of threats that happens in contracts. That's the whole point of the contract, so you won't renege it. So it's probably a lot of stuff in those contracts, but these people can't say a word. So why do we care about them talking about stuff 30 years later? Tell them to keep it with the contract that they signed upon and play their part. Like, anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Like, share, subscribe. Good night.